Wrestling fans around the corner of the world, it is Sunday Night Live. Even though we were just live a few minutes ago, we had a couple of technical glitches as John C. Manicus Riley attempts to jazz up the screen a little bit. We appreciate him as always. Jackie the Joke Man was a big help when John Cena Sr. was here. If for some reason you missed the raffle drawing, I don't think John C. could have made it any bigger than he did. We want you to know that you won. And that number, again, I don't even have to read the ticket, is 694-5499. Red Rose has broken our heart tonight. I don't know about the other guys, but I'm just a hungry man. But anyway, are you guys ready for Starrcade 1997? I'm going to put the link up right here in the screen to give you guys easy access. I didn't put it here. Oh Dan. I taught Dan Marati, I tell you. You are, oh no, I did. I put it on in the blue thing up top. Well, if you go to the blue bar up top, that'll give you the link. I'm going to put it in the Premier chat. And we're going to watch a little Starrcade 97. Now, Charlie, before we begin, why did you pick Starrcade 97?
Well, we were doing a lot of Starrcades for a bit of a time there.
Yeah.
We started with the first one. We went up to 93, and I knew 94, 5, and 6 might come down the pike, but I thought, let's jump ahead a few years to something a little bit more interesting. 97 is often regarded as one of their best shows. It's December, and I figure we'd maybe finish December with 97 and maybe even 98, and then go right into the Rumbles. Maybe do some Rumbles.
We could do that.
I think January's always got to have a couple Rumbles in there, and Phil is going to be guest with us on January 9th as well, and I think
Phil's taking a few weeks off for the holidays.
I think Phil should pick the show for January 9th. That's my opinion.
I'll do my best, and I certainly will solicit any ideas from our viewers. So send them in, and we'll take a look.
And if you can't think of anything, January, you can always pick a Rumble, or you can always pick some random show from January, whatever you got to think of.
Matthew Holland says, hello, Charles.
Hello, Matthew. My brother.
Dan, can I come by the studio at some point? I want to donate for Quincy's bike. You know what, Mike, if you want to pop by, Quincy's generally only here on Thursdays, but we could definitely set something up like that. Why are 2 videos running simultaneously on your channel? Is the toy drive video still up? John C., no? Danny, I'm not, I'll have a staff of experts look at it. But right now, we're going to start Starrcade 97. Folks, be quick. Head on over to WWE Network on Peacock or however you watch your pay-per-views. We're going to watch the WWE Network version. The link is right there above. Easy access, just like your favorite woman. No, we don't say that. It's the holiday season. I'm going to get up and hit play. John C., if you could switch the camera to our fine co-host for a moment so my old man pillow isn't exposed.
Speaking of old man,
we like that pillow.
Dan Marati's shirt collection just continues to amaze me.
Am I in the holiday spirit or what?
I feel like you look like a geisha girl from this angle. Like you should be giving massages at Robert Kraft's
I feel like I should be over with Lou and his bird seed sized teeth.
Mrs. Blassie used to wear.
All right, wrestling.
Like that.
Wrestling fans. We are going to hit play to Starrcade 97. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, play. Join with me. We're going to go live with Starrcade 97 on WWE Network in 3, 2, 1, play. All right, sit back, relax, and enjoy the action and excitement that was Starrcade 97. Pre-HD.
Even at the beginning.
Sting when he was over.
Yeah. Even at this first 3 seconds, it looks cool.
Great visuals.
They did a great job with this event, building it up. The execution of it was atrocious, but as we'll see that as it goes on. But I mean, I don't think Sting could be more over for a guy that didn't wrestle for 1.25 years.
Think about what his character was and his look was just 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
The silence, his 2 years of silence is really, I think, what helped build up the suspense. And he finally spoke. And does anyone remember what he said when he finally spoke? I
don't remember, to be honest.
It's hard to exactly remember, but it was something like "I'm coming," like a retribution kind of thing. But he was the one. But the idea, I mean, it's just a great visual, and it just had the perfect angle, the best angle maybe of all time, and that's saying a lot. But
Yeah.
they
Here
might
we
have had the
are,
best
sold out Washington, D.C.
MCI Center, right?
I think that's what it was called then.
I think he rappelled down. He pointed the bat at Bischoff, said, "You're a liar," and then he pointed to Hogan and said, "You're a dead man."
Something like that.
I think it was.
Well, you got a good memory, Phil. Better
Yeah,
than
that
I
might have been
do.
it. Now I think about it.
Well, it is so sad that this company should still be in business now.
Yeah, now the company that replaced it is just a bunch of goofs.
Well,
That's my one man's opinion. I'm not a big AEW guy.
but the fans were
I enjoy
certainly
it.
in. This had to have
Yeah,
been.
I just
Look at
can't-
Rey
I can't get-
Mysterio in the crowd.
Was that Glacier too?
Yes,
With
Ray
Ray
Lloyd.
Ray?
Thank
Dusty
you,
Rhodes
Guardian of
is-
Chaos.
the
Merry
bolo
Christmas
tie.
to you too.
Dusty.
What a where the hell was Bobby?
Iron Mike and Schiavone.
Where's Bobby? I don't
Mike
remember
Tenay,
Dusty
great
Rhodes.
commentator.
Oh.
One of my favorites. Just amazing personality.
Iron
for
Mike.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Matthew, thank you. We
One of the
consider
best
you a
things about
great friend of the
TNA,
show. We're
great
happy you're here. Ken, how are you, buddy?
And that was a company.
Don
with a
the
lot of highs
Barber.
and lows.
A little bit of strutting, a little bit of cutting. We love Don the Barber.
I'm glad Ken's there.
Dan, do you remember David Sullivan? That was the
Evad.
Eva.
Oh gosh.
Oh, he was terrible. He was one of the worst I've ever seen on a full-time roster. He had, other than he looked maybe good in a picture, or he was an intimidating guy if you saw him walking into the building. He offered nothing bell to bell. He was terrible.
Booker and Stevie Ray in these 90s.
Sonny Ono. I wonder if he
dress
knows
shirts and
anything
chain combos.
Thing about I won't even say that. That might come out wrong.
Look at
But
it, look. Disco.
There's Disco. Mortis.
our
I
good
think,
friend
or-
Bobby,
Jim
he did a
Mitchell,
great
Sinister
job.
Minister.
Yeah,
Greg
he's great.
Valentine's looking for Annie.
Is that Hugh Morris?
Morris.
Yeah, Hugh Morris.
Johnny
Johnny
Grunge.
Grunge.
Glacier
The
with
Fly
that-
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was Rocco
With that
Rock.
sweet flat top Glacier had back in the day.
Yeah.
And Ray Ray.
Blood runs cold.
They did a really good job. I don't know why the wrestlers would sit in the crowd, but in this one instance, it kind of made it seem even more important than.
I don't
It
know if you
already
remember
was.
this, Dan, and maybe you do remember this, Phil. There was a match between Arn Anderson and Ric Flair on a pay-per-view maybe in Asheville, and they had some of the boys in the audience. Like they had Bagwell and Pillman and the younger guys watching it, and they really put over how like these guys wanted to watch it as like fans. I thought it was a really cool touch.
Yeah.
Really cool touch.
What were you talking about, Charlie?
It was it was a match between Arn and Flair back in like '95.
On Nitro.
And a Nitro or maybe even a pay-per-view, but it was like they were having guys in the stands, like they had Pillman and Bagwell. And you could see this was Bagwell in his American Males days. We had the earring and the goatee and the spiky
I
hair.
like Bagwell.
But he had but they had him in the stands, other guys too, and they were putting over how important of a match it was between Arn and Flair. Because they never worked each other, they were best friends. I thought that was a cool touch. They should do that more. They should try that.
Well, there's nothing of any importance to watch anymore.
Well, now again, if you put the boys in the stands, they'd be like, that's just some random fan.
But I'll say this, you know what? I'll give WWE a little
Yeah.
credit. They did the WrestleMania I think of the city of Santa Clara near San Jose where the 49ers play. I think it was for Roman and Lesnar at WrestleMania 31 when they had like Brett, Backlund, Bruno all in the front row sitting there. And I thought that
Was
made
that the one
championship
Lesnar
awesome.
beat
Seemed
Roman
very
in
important.
in the end?
Absolutely.
Is that the one Lesnar beat Roman in the end of the? He beat them. at
No,
the end?
that was the one when Rollins did the cash in.
No. There was one where. Well, I'm thinking of the other one then, because I watched.
They did it
WrestleMania.
at 34. They wrestled at 34 too.
What year was 34?
18,
17
I
maybe.
think.
Because I watched the WrestleMania with Paul Richard and our friend
So-
Uncle Benny Jux,
Hey,
Benny? Is that Jim Quinlan's
Hey.
Benny? No.
Jim Quinlan.
You don't know. You know Jim Quinlan. He was a ECW.
oh, I know
promoter.
Jim very well.
That's
yeah,
not his
yeah,
Benny,
yeah.
though.
He
No.
actually helped me out in a big pinch, health-wise once.
Good.
He worked at a
He's a
hospital.
Nice guy. We
Yeah.
used to help him with posters and stuff
Did ya?
at the ECW shows.
Where
yeah.
was he in ECW, Ref?
No,
Not
he was
promoter,
just
kind of
he,
local.
he
Oh.
took over the local promoting once the referee Paul Richard
Yeah, it used to be Paul
and his
Richards. and then-
ECW ringtone.
Oh,
stopped,
Ray is buzzed.
doing it. But wrestling fans right now, I do have to say, where it is the holiday season, I don't. Doesn't that Pitbull have a song Fireball?
Might. I didn't know you were a big Pitbull fan.
I'm not. That's why I don't know the name of the
He's a
song.
big Fireball fan, though.
Yeah,
But I am a Fireball fan. Thanks to
Oh.
John C. Manicus Riley. Fans, let's keep the cup filled tonight. It's Christmas week. Salute. Now, let me ask you this, even though we're
Here's
getting
to
ready
ya.
for the opening match, Charlie, have you picked the event for next week?
Oh, I will Starrcade '98.
All right.
And then we'll end the Starrcades. And then we can go to January. We can do a Rumble. I mean, Phil's going to pick January 9th, whatever you want to pick.
Yeah,
You
open
know.
suggestion.
Are you gonna? You won't be with us next week, though, Phil.
What is next week anyway? Is
It is the day after Christmas.
the 26th, eh? Well,
You're
see.
invited. How
Well,
about
thank
that?
you.
And you can
It
go
might
from
happen. I might even bring Chinese food.
there. Well,
Ooh.
it'd be nice if someone did.
I'd get over here for sure. Exactly.
Typical.
I don't want to say anything bad because these are good people.
Typical Marty doesn't come through on his promises. What else is new? Anyway, back to the
I
back
can
to the
only.
action.
What an opening matchup, though, guys. Hey, a much thinner
Wow.
Eddie Guerrero than we
Yeah,
see in
boy, he's
WWE.
streamlined.
Wow,
there.
he was on something right now. I don't know what it was, but he looked great.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't 2004 Eddie Guerrero, that's for sure.
No, when he was
No.
very beefy looking.
Yeah, he's gone through.
His
different
body
physiques.
transformed quite a bit, especially compared to what he looked like 3 years earlier when he was in AAA still.
Yeah, he was very thick, very
Well,
bulkier.
Well, he wasn't. He looked normal. He looked like a normal guy in a singlet. Remember, he had
Yep.
him and Art Barber were a tag team at that time.
Oh,
And,
good memory.
Yeah,
but fantastic mullet as always, Eddie Guerrero. One of the best mullets in wrestling.
you wore it well.
Wore it well. Always had a good head of hair.
Mhm.
Dean
Malenko's
Malenko, not so much.
still active as an agent in AEW.
Dino Machino, it was nice to see him out. I know he's been battling some things, and it's really good to see him in ring a few weeks ago.
I remember when I knew, well, not when I knew him, but I mean, during my long 9 months with WWE, he had a really bad neck,
Yeah,
which I'm sure hasn't improved.
he had a fuse.
Always loved his kick. Yeah, he did. Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, I don't know that he can turn his head to the side all that much. He's very stiff necked.
Limited.
You know? Yeah.
It's limited, yeah.
Bad neck guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'd go on to feel that same pain a few years later, thanks to
Yeah.
the Sheik. But
You know, it's
it's
unfortunate
Christmas. We won't bury him.
No.
when you look at a lot of the wrestlers and you watch them walk around the ring, they look normal. You don't know what they're like on a day-to-day basis. I feel like anyone who's been wrestling long enough has usually one of four bad things: a bad neck, bad shoulder, bad knee, or bad back, or at
Yeah.
least more than one of those.
Some combination.
But
thereof.
at least one of those, they've got. Like any wrestler, I mean, Nord. Gosh, when he was in here, he walked like a mummy.
Oh, he was in, yeah.
Yeah.
But he
His
has.
balance was off, and he was in rough shape.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun, folks. If you have not seen the debut of Wrestling Insider's Throwback Thursday after this watch along tonight, I highly encourage it. Much like I highly encouraged Eddie Guerrero to finish off that moonsault attempt, as he's now down on his back. His widow is a great lady. We've had her in studio here, Vicky Guerrero.
Fluffy
What a
Guerrero.
great character too. Oh,
Yeah.
Wonderful character.
I think that's one that AEW could do more with.
The crowd seems pretty good for this match. They seem
Well,
like a.
It's their biggest event of the year. It's a hot opening match.
Yeah.
They're getting ready for a main event they've been wanting to see for a
WCW,
year plus.
yeah, and-
When the hell was the last time you saw that in modern day
Yeah.
pro wrestling?
WCW.
Yeah.
I'll say this about AEW. I'm not the biggest fan of their product. They have hot crowds for
What a-
their matches.
Great power slam. You get fully.
Well,
off
you know what?
the-
I think they're smart. They go to college towns primarily
Mhm.
and the college buildings. They're trying to get the younger demographic into it,
exactly.
which they've been somewhat successful. They're not trying to book like Vince 15,000 seat buildings that they're not going to fill.
Yeah.
So the buildings is, I think when you have that small compact crowd
Yeah.
that's all there together, I think that adds to the excitement
lot of
and the
energy.
ambiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ECW did it back in
Very
the day, and it
intense.
worked for them. They were a little bit smaller scale, but they still did it. Ring of Honor for a while was doing that. But, I mean, Ring of Honor had some really hot crowds back in the mid to late 2000s.
Most certainly.
But
Danny glasses. Well, see, the thing is, Matthew, I'm as blind as a bat. I can't read what you guys are writing if I don't have my glasses on, and I really can't. I could probably
But
make out a little bit on this.
I was just going to say,
86
WCW was
inch
very
television.
good at
Thank
putting
God
on
for that.
opening
Yeah.
matches. They always had very good openers, WCW.
Yeah.
They'd always put the guys like Kidman, Guerrero, Ray, all the guys who could go and get the crowd hot.
Yeah.
They weren't going to get the main event spot, but you know what? The opening spot is very, very, very important when you structure a show. And I don't think they could have done much better than these two ultra talented superstars.
Later
Um,
radicals.
Yep, the Radicals.
Yeah, they would. They'd go in. Dan is handsome. Well, thank you, Matthew. Oh, Ken, brother, we're not missing your question. Let me see. What'd you ask? I see you typing, Ken. You're here, baby. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little Starrcade 97. It's always nice. One thing I like about these watch-alongs is that it's almost like, you know what, for a couple of hours, you forget about what wrestling in 2021 is like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a distraction. Your brain just kind of goes back in time. And I think that's fun. Hopefully you guys think so too. Hopefully you've been enjoying Quincy's Wrestling Challenge
But when you guys
on Thursdays at 7 o'clock.
Oh.
Charlie, I don't know if you've seen it yet. But
I have not, because I don't want to sully Quincy's memory in my mind with some of the filth he puts himself through.
well, Quincy, you know what? I tell you, Wrestling Challenge wasn't a show that a lot happened on. So it's kind of perfect for Quincy,
It's a
where he
great
has
starter for
no
Quincy.
idea who anyone is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a starter kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's having fun.
Absolutely.
But
He's saving up for a bike.
This is a question for Phil. Hey, by the way, if anyone wants to donate to the
Whoa!
Quincy Bike Challenge, the Charles Wilson Bike Challenge could use some funding as well.
You're
So,
looking for
You're
a
on a
bike,
bike?
too.
I have a motorcycle, yes. Maybe in about a year from now or so. So
D-
It has another
Is the
year.
one destroyed that you were in the accident with?
no, it still runs. It still runs, and the arm is coming back slowly but surely. I've got some stiffness in there, but it's coming along
Like Chris Sale after he had the ACL.
a little bit. But that's an ACL. This is a shoulder. But
Oh, I'm being
But-
facetious.
But I will say, it's been I haven't been working out as much, so I've been trying to eat less.
You
and
weigh
so
more than Chris Sale does, by the way.
really. What does Chris Sale weigh?
About $180, but he's like 6'6", I think.
He's a
Well,
tall guy.
$170.
He's,
Also-
well, you know what? You didn't ever get to see Sale pitch this year, but you know where the seats are at Fenway we have. So you got a nice bird's eye view of the bullpen. Not to be confused with birdseed sized tea.
I knew that was coming.
Well, also, so speaking
But no,
of
segue.
am I right or wrong?
No,
though,
no, no,
Charlie?
no,
Is
you're
that
right,
not
you're right,
a great
absolutely.
spot in the bullpen?
by the way, speaking of you said 180.
Yeah.
Sometimes I told Phil, Dan likes to make fun of my weight and say I'm on the gas because of how muscular I am. I'll let you
You
know.
look good.
Thank you. I have a resolution to lose some weight. I heard what John Cena Sr. said earlier about resolutions. So I want to lose some weight to spite John Cena Sr. So I'll be coming off the gas a little bit.
Why do you want to lose weight if you're looking so good?
Well, I'm a little flabbier than I'd like to be.
Well, see, I haven't examined it that
Just
close.
convert
but
the mass, man. You don't have to lose
But
weight
you know what?
necessarily.
I'm just gonna say I'll be like the boys in '92 when they got off the gas.
All right. Well, you're going to look like Hogan at WrestleMania 9.
yeah.
The
Tan?
incredible shrinking man.
230 pounds with a black eye. What was it?
Yeah.
He was,
Just- What the stupid.
He looked more like Dennis Rodman than Hulk
Didn't
Hogan
he?
that night. Eddie Guerrero, did he just kiss his foot?
he's not the Pope, Eddie.
I really can't tell, and this will be my knock on this match, because I don't remember who was the heel and who was the baby face.
Well, Malenko was never much of a babyface. He was just Malenko.
Just Guerrero seems heelish. So
I think Guerrero was heelish at this point. I think
But Malenko more or less was the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, Phil. He was more or less the same kind of no matter what he was.
well, he's the Iceman no
Yeah,
matter
just-
what.
yeah.
You know, no emotion. Mr. Roboto, as Chris Jericho used to call him.
Yeah. Great
Like the
in
old Styx
rings.
song.
Dan,
Great.
what are your thoughts on Alex Wright, the German?
Oh, love that.
I thought he actually had potential.
Das
I thought
Wunderkind.
he was young.
Did you like the Berlin character?
They kind of gave him a goofy, you know,
That was
dun,
different.
A
dun,
little different.
dun, 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 dun. You know, is that really going to get over outside of maybe the 6 young girls that watch the show? I mean, WCW really wasn't aimed towards that demographic.
Well,
but
all the girls
I
who
thought,
like
I
to
thought it was
frequent the
wasted
events.
potential. I didn't like Berlin.
Yeah.
I think Berlin had an interesting idea. That was an interesting idea. It
Maybe
was
the wrong
gothic.
guy.
What's that?
Maybe the wrong guy to do it.
Well, also they put him against Hacksaw Duggan, who did not want to sell for him in his debut match as Berlin, which was he had Steve Williams syndrome that day. Didn't want to sell.
I'm sorry, Danny. I saw that you mentioned Vampiro.
Austin
I
didn't
have
want
to
to go
say-
out there and wrestle him for 20 minutes either. You know.
Oh yeah,
He didn't like going.
there's still heat between the two of them.
Yeah.
Austin and Duggan.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think Duggan came from that era and in his mind saw himself as a certain guy. And if any, for a guy like, I don't know, that's just how maybe that's how he felt the business was in his head. And he never got out of that Mid-South role.
In '94, he wasn't that Duggan. You know
No,
what
I
mean?
agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
But I'm sorry, Danny, that we missed your question.
Vampiro?
Vampiro in studio.
He'd be
That's one of
interesting.
those. If you guys really wanted him and wanted to pay for it, I'd be happy to have him. When it comes to my hit list of guys that I'd like to have in, He's low.
I think he'd be interesting, but I've heard so many things about him as a person, dealing with him personally.
Well, you guys are going to have just take my spot, take the golden chair.
Well,
I'll go in there
how
with
would you
John
feel about a
C.
Vampiro interview?
And we'll have a
series?
little salute. And the cup is going to be empty, folks. Don't forget the super chat is open.
I mean,
Salute.
Vampiro was a huge star in Mexico, from what I understand, like the Hogan of his day.
And I don't know that much about Mexican wrestling history.
Yeah.
I mean, I know enough to converse,
Sure.
but to sit there and do hour upon hour upon hour of interviews, no way.
Yeah.
So we'd need a Charlie Wilson or a Phil to step in. And Phil, you're going to have to, this is going to be a little embarrassing, but how do you pronounce your
I
last
knew you
name?
were going to say that.
Is it like Cesaro, but
Di Cesare?
Cesare?
Is it Di Cesare?
De Cesare is a good
Oh,
way.
well, all right.
De Cesare. Hey,
Well, you should hear my whole last name. It's 16 letters.
I've heard you say that before. They did a little choppy
Well,
at Ellis Island.
like
or
I
where-
said, no, I still go by it, but just to make it easier on the fans, I just use the Marty part here. But to make life easier, they just, what, we'll give him Dan for a first name.
Sure.
So that was easier than the rest. Well, I'm not even going to repeat what you said, Danny, not out of disrespect to you, but you know what? If he's a good interview and he's in town, I wouldn't be opposed to it at all if the money is, feasible.
Who is this before?
He
Vampiro,
was,
I
he
think.
did an interview last night with certain people.
Oh, yeah. And
Certain people.
Okay.
down on the island?
They could be, yeah.
Island
I think I saw-
Boys.
Ellis-
Ellis Island should send him back. John C. Manicus Riley again is the man with the cup. Support the cause,
Oh,
folks.
this Bird
This is Greg
Show.
Valentine. Greg Valentine's ready for a little in.
that John
Nord?
Yeah.
Nord is
It's
there?
like
Oh my
a-
God! Did you see
yeah,
the
he
most
was sitting
random
next
group
to
of
Barry
guys?
Darsow.
Did you see? But did you see? It was Ultimo Dragon was in front of them. This is what I loved about WCW back in the late '90s. It was the most random collection of wrestlers in one company. You had
John
Nord,
C.
and you had
What- is something
Ultimo
wrong?
Dragon, and you had Doofy.
Ah,
Oh, well,
Yes.
why don't you have a seat?
that's right. You met him the other week, right?
Why don't you have a seat, John? That's why
Powerbomb
there's
by
chairs.
Eddie.
What's that now?
Powerbomb by Eddie. Very good one. Yeah, pull up a seat.
Oh, do you have the picture, by the way? When I texted you that?
Did you want a picture? Was it for Scott?
Yeah.
I was looking at it today and I said, who the fuck is Scott?
Just trying to go
If
for a
you look
victory
at
roll.
that pile right there on top of the binder to
I
your right where you are right now, there should be one that says to Scott. I couldn't remember who the fuck Scott was. Well, there you go. He's got a Berzerker picture waiting for. Move that however you want to sit down.
My cousin in South Dakota.
Is he a fan?
He's a lifelong fan.
Oh, well, you know what? We'll have to remember that for all of them. But that's so funny. When I was trying to get everything set up, I was looking at them and I said, who the fuck is Scott? And I forgot that you requested that. So that's good. We're looking forward, fans, to John Nord being with us live the weekend of January 22nd. He made a new friend in Charlie. Charlie escorted John Nord to his room.
Yeah, you wouldn't help us. You went to go
I
sit in my
was
car.
I was about exhausted. What I had left, there was nothing to give after the credit card.
You were
was swiped.
laughing on your way out of that hotel.
What
could
was
see
I
you
laughing at?
cackling, yeah.
What was I laughing?
And I came downstairs and he was crying in my car saying, "Why am I doing this to myself?"
Why was I laughing?
Because he dropped his room key. and he's like, golly gee. And I said, "Oh, John, I'll help you. Dan, you want to come with me?" As I say that, Dan is literally trying to hustle his way out of the hotel.
Because I look at it like this.
Exit stage
And
right.
it's nothing. And I think John Nord is great. I think you know that.
And he told me what he thought about you.
What did he say?
He said, don't take this the wrong way, because I totally agreed with him. He said, you're a nice, and I told him why. He said, he thinks you're a good guy. He said, we're just getting to know each other, so obviously we're here to make some money, and we want to make sure we're in good times. He's a little carnyish. I said, he is a little carnyish, but it's a good
Me?
carny. You're a little carnyish.
I've never understood someone that says that.
You're a
Maybe
little-
because I don't feel it on the inside. I don't know.
Well, do you
But
think
his opinion, he's
well,
entitled
maybe-
to his opinion.
maybe Hitler didn't think he was a bad guy on the inside, but
Oh.
he was. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just you're a little
Yeah.
bit of a razzmatazz guy. Maybe that's what.
Razzmatazz?
You're a little bit of a razzmatazz guy.
You've
A
got to
showman.
explain what that means.
Dan's a showman.
You're a bit of a smooth talking showman guy.
I think
You've been in the wrestling business since you were 13. You kind of have to. You've picked it up a little bit as you've gone along.
and maybe as you guys get to know me better, you'll realize that when the camera's on and, we have presentations for the fans and Dan Marotti's on a roll, maybe a little there, but Dan is nothing like that.
Well, I think
And maybe that's why I've always been,
I
I don't know if offended
listen,
is the right
can
word, but
is
I
it-
don't agree with it.
Is it safe to say that you have been known to work someone on occasion in the real world? Not in a bad
not
way.
especially.
Not in a bad way, but sometimes you want to get a little bit better seat or you want to get a
I think
little
we
bit
all
better.
do. Quincy's
Well,
a worker
I mean,
too.
you know
Yeah.
what? If you're talking
He's a
about
carny, too.
taking
We're all
advantage of
carny-ish.
the disability access in certain venues,
Well,
yes, I will turn that on because it leads to a more comfortable experience and a better seat.
but he said he does like you. He said he just thinks that you're very focused on the working aspect. He says he wishes you could have a little bit more fun and relax. I said, well, this is the way he sort of has to run things because this is on his bottom line at the end of the day.
I look at it like this: we can have fun when it's done. You know what I mean? When we go to Kowloon, granted it closed quick, but we can have fun all night if it's open until 2. But when we're here, we have to try and get as much value out of those appearances as possible
And you guys
because
are
we
having
have to
fun while
take
you
as much
talk.
content as possible.
You guys are having fun while you talk a little bit.
I thought the interviews were a lot of fun. The fans will have to tell us what they think. Looks like Eddie Guerrero came away with the big W here in Washington.
Kept his mullet, his title,
Starrcade
and
97.
W.
Vicky was probably feeling a little. I
That's
should
the
say
froggy
that.
splash.
He's just trying to get to know you. And I think it's one of those things where these guys that you work with have been around the business so long, they think everyone's a little bit of a worker in their own way. And I don't think it's anything personal. He's just trying to. And I said to him, I said, no, I can understand what you think, but Dan is a decent guy. I said, I've been around him for X amount of time, and I think he's a pretty decent guy. I said, if I didn't.
Pretty decent. That's all you think of me.
Well, I thought
Damning you with faint praise.
I didn't want to give him too much praise because I didn't want it to be a thing where he
I
let me
got
down.
you. No, I got you.
I just didn't want to.
Check, check,
I said
check,
he's not
check,
bad. I
check,
said, you know what? I
check,
said,
check,
I
check.
said, do this.
Check.
You know, unless he gives you a reason to think otherwise, continue to do what you want to do with him.
Check, check, check.
Or here's my thing: come a little early or stay a little late if you want to chit chat and BS. And then you get Dan, as opposed to we have to produce, we have to produce, we have to work. That's a different side of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Here's Scott Hall in the peak of his career right
Yeah.
now in great physical condition.
Mhm.
Maryland
God, these
NWO
guys
for
were
life.
so
God, you
over.
can even adjust that seat. You can come over here if you want. I don't think they'll bite.
You can
No,
sit on Papa Maratti's lap.
I'm good.
I don't know about that, but
I'm good here.
did you know that John C. is angling for a spot in Dallas, Texas in April, Charlie?
You should go if you want to.
He
In
wants
April,
to be
you said?
part of Wrestle House. Weren't you hinting at that the other day?
Did you say April?
Well,
Yeah. But then you said, oh, no, I don't know if I'm going to be in the country. Oh, no, you said you might be in South Dakota or something?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know.
I'm helping Scott,
Scott.
and my uncle move.
Everybody's moving except for me. Well,
Are
we're
you
still
moving?
trying- I got it. This
No, no,
week,
no.
honestly, now that the toy drive is
what's
over,
in South Dakota?
we
Like,
really
why?
get
Is
to
your
start
family
to
from
figure
there?
out Wrestle House in
No,
Dallas.
they
that
moved-
takes a lot of work to coordinate.
Because in
Who's
South
gonna be
Dakota,
there,
it doesn't
who's
seem like
gonna
one of
be
those
where?
places people just go to. You know, there seems to be a reason.
I mean, they just went there. And I'm
any
helping-
reason, or did they just went?
They went.
Mike S.,
and,
how are you, my friend? Would I do a Buff Bagwell interview?
Oh yes, please.
I'm not really
I've
all
been
that
asking
early.
Dan
I'm
about
interested.
this for months. You know what? I think Buff's got his own podcast now. He does actually. He's got his own podcast. He's been out on YouTube. I think Buff would be a really interesting guest.
Buff, what was it like to be a whore?
Well, you know what?
I
all
seen you
whores on
November
some level.
13th at Chuck E. Cheese. Who? Who was at Chuck E. Cheese?
You
It wasn't
Dan?
me.
Why
I
were
was
you
too busy. Did you stop at Chuck E. Cheese before the show?
No, I wasn't certainly. I wouldn't go to Chuck E. Cheese for anything except the kid's birthday party. I don't go to kids' birthday parties.
Hey, Kevin, how are you, buddy? Charlie, a wise man, Mean Gene Okerlund, once said, to be in this business, you have to have a little carny in you.
It's not a bad thing. It's just.
But I think it is.
But it's not necessarily. Even Nord said it's not a bad thing. We talked about this.
It's just not. See, the thing is, I know that's not me. And that's why he's entitled to his opinion, but I just.
He asked me a little bit about you. He's like, what do you think
Tell
about
me
the
a
guy?
little bit about Dan.
I said, well, I think.
Is that what he said?
I said,
Is he had his Frosty
I
with
said-
the cover on?
Well, I said, oh my God.
A
Jason,
Wendy's Frosty?
yes.
Oh, dear, you should have seen him try and figure out how to eat that fucking Frosty. Oh, my God.
Did he get a brain freeze?
Well, there's got to be a
That's one
brain
way
he's
to put it.
frozen.
He's from Minnesota. There's no way he's getting a brain freeze.
That's true.
Remember how disappointed he was in himself that he didn't order it right off the bat? After I ordered mine, he
Oh
goes,
yeah.
I forgot the fries.
Well, listen. I got to be honest with you. And I'm not picking on you because I know you didn't eat all day. But when we worked through the Wendy's drive-through, and then you from the back go, "Wait a second, brother," before you pull off.
I was hungry.
Yeah, and I'm
Did
like,
you see how nothing against our friends at the Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex, but did you see how many scallops were in my bowl?
I saw you got a lot of chicken fingers. And
There were
that
a lot
was,
of chicken fingers, but did you see how many scallops there were?
I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't actually.
Not many, let me tell you.
Well,
Let me tell you.
It's funny because.
Salute.
Sorry about that.
Again, the super chat is open, fans. Help keep the glass full.
It
As
just-
John C. Manicus Riley takes in Starrcade.
Speaking of Wendy's,
Yes,
that used to be a nickname for a famous,
it sure was.
and it was coined by someone you hold near and dear to your heart as
It
well.
sure was.
Indeed.
What's the story on this?
Dan?
Where we used to call Mark, we used to call him Wendy, because when he first started as Undertaker, he looked like the Wendy's girl.
Long red hair. Exactly. So I think of Wendy's. Sometimes I think of him. too.
Dan banged Marty Jannetty at Chuck E. Cheese. Marty and I have been to some interesting places since I've known him, but we've never made it to Chuck E. Cheese together, believe it or not. I think that would make for an interesting video, Marty and I at Chuck E. Cheese.
You banging at Chuck E. Cheese?
So that would not be happening.
Is that
but
what
I
he
think
said?
the,
Is that what he said? You two were banging at Chuck E. Cheese?
yeah.
Oh. I like how you said we haven't been to Chuck E. Cheese yet. You don't even say we haven't banged. You just say we haven't been to Chuck E. Cheese.
I want to hear Red T say, now let me tell you a story about a bridge.
I
Red
think.
T. Who's Red T?
I'm not sure. I think.
Well,
Red-
we
I think
don't
he's-
have
I
Red
think
on.
he's
Are you
talking about
one
Phil.
of us?
I think he's talking about Phil.
oh, well, it's a red polo. But yeah.
It's a
It's a
polo,
polo.
baby.
It's not a T-shirt, please.
And what is the
Don't
tale
insult
about?
the man.
A what now?
Now let me tell you a story about a bridge.
Tale about a bridge.
By the way, this is the
I don't
gentleman
get it.
that when we sit, Dan and I sit and go, back in 1981, I was driving my Lincoln Continental down the road with Don Morocco next to me. And I said, brother,
Phil, they're
How-
mean
Feels
to
like
you.
the
We're making fun
Rico
of my
Suave
stories.
of
They're
Boston
mean to
wrestling.
you, Phil. I don't
I
like it.
I can handle it, man.
oh,
I think
coming
that
from
was
you
right.
who's mean to
Thank
everyone.
you, John.
Uh-oh.
How am I mean to everyone?
You're mean. You're a mean guy.
Now, if I remember right, I think, was it not
Every
supposed
time I
to
drop
be
you off,
the giant
I
Kevin
tell Dan,
Nash?
I don't like this guy. He's mean. He goes, I know, I hate him too.
You know, I don't know.
And I
Was
think
one of them
Nash had
injured?
one of his infamous "I don't want to do a job" injuries.
Yeah, like a hangnail or something. I think it was.
I was moving my
you
son's
know?
toy box and my back went out.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wasn't Nash convinced he was going to have a heart attack around this
Is-
point because his dad died around this age? He's like, I'm convinced I'm going to die of a heart attack.
Could be because his dad did die very
Yeah,
young.
I heard this. And by the way, Big Show looking great here. He looked good.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
he was money. Yeah,
And he was young here. He
Imagine
was
if
maybe
they. I'll say
25?
this. I'm sorry.
He was maybe 25 here, I think. Young guy, had all his hair still.
Yeah, and no spinal compression.
Yeah,
He was actually a
mid-20s.
little taller back then too. I
Yeah.
think gravity's taken its toll on him as well.
That's why I'm thankful I'm
He's
5'10".
one of the few guys that I'll say that I think WCW used better than WWE.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that because they had everyone beat him to the point where it never felt special again. You have,
They just turned him into any other wrestler that
You have,
was
like-
just happened to be 7 foot tall, 400 plus pounds.
he wins some, he loses some.
Yeah,
And he was
he's
physically
mentioning
more
Kevin and
impressive than
Nash
Andre,
now.
too,
So,
I think.
John
Built
C, did
better
you
than
say
Andre,
something?
I'd
But
say.
when I spoke over you,
I don't think so. Nothing
I
of value that I would.
you're talking about
Well,
Valium.
he trained. Andre did.
No, I said nothing of
Well,
value.
yeah,
Nothing of
Andre
value.
went to get
Everything
one day
you
his
say
life,
is of
maybe
value.
he's young.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked how everyone in the 90s wore jeans with their shirts tucked in. Is that a 90s thing?
And no belt.
Or
it
did they
was-
have
it
belts
was-
usually?
It was an 80s thing too.
Yeah.
No one does
Well,
it
this
now.
is 97, so he really kept the look going.
In the earlier 90s, it was the peg jeans at the bottom and spot built sneakers. That was the look.
No, now everything is baggy. Baggy jeans, skinny
Dan's
jeans
fat
are out.
falls off
Really?
the bone. Well,
Yeah.
Everything's
I guess
skinny
I
now.
should
What
take that
look
as
are
a
you talking about?
compliment.
2005?
Thank you, Matthew.
Skinny jeans?
Dan
No.
is a
I feel like
legend.
everything
That's
is
gotta
Well,
baggy
be
now.
fair.
at least with Gen
That's why
Z
I like
now.
you, Mike Burke.
Oh, you're talking Gen Z. Yeah, the millennials were into the more fitted stuff.
Wait, we have a message
Yeah.
here. Is it from
I don't
Jack
know
Sy?
what Gen Z does. I feel like they just
No,
do whatever
it's not
Billie
from
Eilish
Jack
Gen-
does.
Sy.
Billie Eilish, basically.
I'm still hoping Jack Side shows up.
Yeah.
Jack, if you're watching, I love you, brother.
Do you want me to order something?
Nah, we can wait till it's done at this point. I don't want to eat on the air.
On
He
air.
doesn't want to keep the satellite office too late.
No, please. We don't want to upset our associates at the satellite office. Please.
It's a Sunday in Massachusetts, so your options are limited.
Well, the satellite office is usually pretty consistent,
You know,
if nothing else.
one day we're gonna
Well,
drive
Scott
through.
Hall
and I'm
left
gonna say,
laying.
I hope you know that you've done a great job as a satellite office, and someone's gonna be like, just
What the fuck is he talking
pick your fucking order up and leave.
I'll tell you this: you're very polite and you're very good with the orders.
I try to be a polite guy, even to people I don't like. I try to be polite and like I make fun of you for it, Dan. But I like you. I just like to make fun of you for it.
I forgot the frosty. He was disgusted with himself that he forgot his frosty.
He was
And what
so
did he
nice,
have? What did
though.
he get? The Baconator?
He got a
Norton?
number-
He got
I
it
think-
was a big, thick
I think
burger.
he got a triple.
The triple burger. All right.
He was so nice, though.
Very nice guy.
Yeah,
But
he
I
was,
was gonna say this: if you want a money show, get him and Marty for the same weekend and put them in a hotel room together. I think that's money.
oh my God.
I think that-
Marty, you gotta get with it. If you're gonna be drunk, don't show up. I will.
Oh
I
man,
recall.
John Nord's sitting on the bathroom again, the bathroom sink.
No, John, I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna fall through a wall.
I like how they sent out the cronies of Norton and Virgil to get the. Get Scott
I know
Hall.
of anyone to come to your rescue.
Yeah.
Virgil and Scott Norton. Guys, what do you think of the Starrcade 97? Eat a
They put the
cheese.
glasses
God, I
back
miss the
on.
90s. I do.
Eat
the
a
late
cheesesteak
90s.
on the show like Ryback. Matthew, I don't like eating on the air. I think it's disrespectful to you guys.
Let us remember, his name is Vincent. On
Vincent,
this.
that's right.
It is
So-
Vincent.
so
I
the
wonder
food-
where they came
So
up with that.
I don't know.
if food came right now and it was sitting out there, would you basically have us wait till the end, or would you just have us go one by one and go eat and come back?
I think we'd probably take individual breaks.
Yeah, we've
so
got
it doesn't
enough.
get cold.
We've got 4 here.
Yeah. So you'd
Yeah.
be like, all right, two people or one person
I
at a
don't know
time
why
have to
you
go
don't
out.
mic yourself up, John C.
Yeah.
I'm literally mic'd right now.
No,
Oh, and I have my glasses on. Hello. Matthew's dad says hi. Well, you know what, Mr. Holland? Thank you for having Matthew with us on the show. We appreciate it. As we get ready for this big match that I'm sure is
Scott
likely
Flash
going to suck.
Norton.
Yeah,
And John
Flapjack
said,
Norton.
and how about,
Flapjack Norton.
well, John Nord said that Scott Norton didn't really start training until he was in his 30s. He was just, a natural athlete.
He broke in leg. Oh, look at Ted.
Oh, wow.
Ted DiBiase was promised such a big role when he came in, and he hated this so much.
Oh yeah, Scotty hadn't turned heel yet at this point, but he was about to.
All Ted does is talk and talk and talk and talk about himself.
Yeah, he was not a fan of Teddy at all.
He came to my used car lot one time. He was all right for doing that.
I'll tell you this: I've never been more uncomfortable than when I was putting that mic on him, on John Nord.
You
the
were
other-
intimidated by John Nord.
He's a large
Yeah,
mammal,
he's-
isn't he?
He's still like really big.
When you make me look small like he did on camera, you know that's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a hot.
He showed
He's
me-
too.
He showed me his physique in Mid-South when he was there for about a year.
Saw
Yeah,
that classic picture.
He said that was him at his peak. If you want to see him when he was at his biggest, probably him in like 1984, 85.
No, but he was like, just put it on me.
Put it
Just
on
put
me
it
wherever
on
you
me.
want, John C. Manicus. You don't have bird seed says teeth.
No, he was.
Oh, I forgot. I got a message at him back.
Oh, please.
It's Captain
Is
Lou?
this the Starrcade
Captain
that
Lou
Flair
messaged
beat
me.
Coco
Captain Lou
beware?
wants a truce.
Matt Schmidt, I don't
He
know
wants
what
a
drug you're
truce.
taking,
He wants
but
a
that
truce.
match
He
never
wants a
happened.
truce.
I was expecting to see him.
Hey, you sit this one out there, little guy.
What do you mean me?
Yeah, 'cause
Shoot, see?
Little guy.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, little
I'm
The
not
guy.
real
that little.
Manicus.
John C's 5'10", as he said.
You're 5'10"?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, you're like
I believe it.
really? Taller than me.
Well, I have to say, what a waste to Randy Savage.
Oh.
Oh, this Barry Dazzo. Can we
he?
see John Nord?
Liz
John was
looked
probably
great,
just sitting
didn't she?
down.
Yeah, she did.
She wasn't even that old here, but she looked great.
Someone
Yeah,
said she
she
was
did.
heavier in her before wrestling.
She was. Buddy Lanzel
yeah.
said she was Randy's like little like she liked Randy, and Randy like lose some weight and I'll get with you and
Wow.
lost some weight. Because she was always a petite woman.
Yeah.
Always.
So I think this is I think the first match I've seen with Randy Savage.
Oh, he's my goat. He's the greatest of all time. in my
I mean,
opinion.
he's like one of the first wrestlers I knew about.
You know what, Matthew Burke Coffin, I'm sorry. Someone had, Oscar. Oscar, if you're watching, brother, we're in the middle of a lot.
I thought Macho.
I remember the day Randy Savage died.
I do too.
I
As I had to tell
Doug
Paul
Dillinger,
Bearer.
everyone's favorite asshole.
Why do you remember it out of curiosity?
I remember I was at, I think, my sister's soccer game, and my dad's friend is a fan of wrestling. And it was like the same day as somebody had predicted the rapture to be, right? Or
Yes. Yeah, and there's a meme of like Jesus is throwing like a thunderbolt down to the ground, and then it's like Randy Savage dropping the elbow, like not today.
And
Oh.
I think my dad said to my friend,
Which may
and
be blasphemous.
or my dad said to his friend, "Oh, it's supposed to be Armageddon today," and his friend goes, "Yeah, they got Randy Savage already."
Yeah.
I remember something like that.
It was a Friday.
I think Randy is phenomenal. I think he's all around greatest wrestler of all time.
I was in the parking lot of Ocean State Job Lot and a friend of mine texted me.
You know what,
and,
Mike? I think
They had
I do
Ocean
have.
State job lots back then.
How the
still
hell do
around.
you set it
Yeah.
up?
No,
The
I
one
know
who-
they're still around. I
The
didn't.
one in Saugus,
I thought it was a
closed,
newer
but
thing.
it's next to Kowloon. Like it's right. It's
No,
where
no,
Bob's
yeah,
store-
They moved it from next to the Target to where Bob's used
right,
to be.
exactly. Yeah.
It's a good store.
So
The
Great
funny
story.
thing,
This is a-
Mike, I actually have
a three-man
what is
match?
called Cash App, but I have no
Randy
idea how
Savage in a
to
match with Norton
tell
and
you-
Virgil.
who it is or
Holy
what my
shit,
name
that's
is. Or
They had so much talent.
That's
Oh.
so bad. Don't even put Matt.
There's
in the
is a
match.
dollar sign symbol? Is that what it is? It's new to me. People keep giving me, use this, use that, and then I have no idea what it is I'm doing. Much like the rest of my life. But
Consistency.
6-man tag team action here at Starrcade 97. Macho Man Randy Savage and two undercard guys against a gassed up Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, and Ray Traylor with my longtime friend Scott Dickinson as the referee.
Oh, yeah.
I've known Scott. Was he the first person I ever met involved in pro wrestling in a outside-ish instance? He might have been. I knew I met Scott before I met Tony Rumble, because I think Scott led Tony Rumble to come to the old studio to promote his live event in October of '93, which broke me into wrestling. Scott, I believe, lives in Washington now. He was a mailman for a while after wrestling.
How long did he
And he
referee
goes to
for?
a lot of Red Sox, Seattle Mariners games with Kevin Sullivan.
Does he?
Yep.
Wonderful.
How long was he referee for? Is that name?
How long was he a ref for?
Yeah.
Late 80s through the end of WCW?
For just WCW
think
or
so.
for WWF as well?
He was involved in some
He
angle,
may have done
too, I
some
recall.
house shows for WWF, but he was never full-time. He was very, very, very good friends with our dear friend, the late historian, the Jackal. They used to go to the Monday night MSG house shows every 3 weeks together before he broke into the business.
Oh wow.
He's a very knowledgeable guy, good guy.
Yeah.
He was a referee on our very first event back on September 28th, 2001 at Wonderland Greyhound Park, Revere, Massachusetts, former home of ECW.
Indeed.
Now, I like Scott.
That's cool.
I
It's amazing to me someone let Virgil in a match.
When did you say that was? What month?
For what?
The first event you did?
September 28th, 2001.
I was 3 months old.
Couple weeks after
Really?
9/11, which really helped.
I'm sure.
Oh. Another one of those stories. The anticipation was great. New promotion in the Boston area. Big stars coming their way in a venue that was well known to fans. And then the world as we knew it.
Now,
Change
couple-
forever.
is that the same venue that the late New Jack had scalped that boy?
Yes,
Yeah.
the coolest incident.
I love how the late New Jack scalped a boy down at the old ballroom. They
Wha-
scalped him clean.
Why is
didn't
Charlie
scalp him
Wilson
clean.
wearing girls' Uggs?
Oh, these are bear paws, guys. They're very comfortable and warm.
Oh, they're the knockoff Uggs from
well,
when Uggs were
they're
popular.
another brand, I'd say. I wouldn't say they're knockoffs necessarily. The ones from Walmart are
Did
knockoffs.
Tom Brady wear those before?
Yeah, he wants.
Yeah, I'm not knocking you for wearing.
They're comfy, man. They really are.
No, I
Well,
don't
tell
doubt
you,
it.
The referee, see, WCW, I don't know as well, but in WWE, they do all right because they have to do double duty. They have not only their referee duties, but they do the ring too. So they're six figures, low six figures, but I'm sure in
Who's in there?
WCW it was probably around the same, but I know they didn't do the ring.
Do you think the refs now are just as good as they were back then, or no?
No,
Yeah.
they have no credibility. And that's not their fault. It's just
And
the
I know
presentation.
you love those female referees.
I think they fit in well with the female matches.
Now, Dan, I had an idea for maybe a stream sometime.
Hmm.
Maybe when you run out of events.
Oh, that'll never happen, but anyway.
But maybe taking one of the WWE video games and then just sort of creating the characters you want and then just sort of streaming it.
I used to do that with the baseball video game on Sega Genesis. Are you talking about creating the characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that on a Sega Genesis video game with baseball players.
Because I have my Xbox 360, and recently I've cracked open WWE 2K14 and
that might be fun.
made wrestlers out of characters. Because there's like
Oh, I mean, think of some of the people we
Looking at him right now.
Could you
He looks
imagine
weak
if we
there a
made
little
me
bit.
and
He looks
Pickett
tired.
on WWE?
that would be a
2K14?
great 1v1.
What do you
You
think
got
of
rid
that,
the singlet, which
CW?
that was a good idea.
You could make
Yeah.
a whole event
They're
of it.
talking about the show.
You got matching boots.
Because I've been making, there's like a character creator, and you can create all sorts of crazy characters. I think 2014 is the best.
I think Marty Pickett on WWE 20 or 2K14 would be a
Mariah
classic.
Piggott, that's like a Mariah Piggott 24.
You make a band from town next.
I don't know. I don't know.
You at the city limits.
I haven't actually had anyone fight each other yet because I've been too busy making the characters because I've been working on a Royal Rumble. But
Ooh.
I don't know if you can do divas versus superstars.
Who would be the superstar? Me or Pickett?
You.
Oh, I would be the superstar. All right.
What, do you want to be a diva?
No. I get enough insults.
Well, you said you would transform into a diva.
Ray Trail looks
You
like
could
he'd be a
kick-
bouncer at a gay bar, doesn't he?
Well, you know what? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of the line that caused all of
Those
these
are,
problems. Dan, what are your thoughts on Earthquake? Is that supposed to be a shock? Lousy idea. I understood where the booking was coming from, why Kevin Sullivan was doing some of the things that he did to try and appease Hogan. But as far as a fan that wanted to enjoy the product, I don't think it was there. And I think that's why WCW had such a bad year in '95 up until Nitro started. One man's opinion. What did you think of the shock, Phil?
I am not a shark. Not a man.
Well, that came later.
Yeah.
God. Does Ray Trailer have a Confederate flag with a noose on it?
Does he what?
Tattoo?
He does have the Confederate flag. I can't
I
see
think there's
that
a noose
closely.
too in there, which would not fly in
No, I'm
today's
surprised
wrestling
they
world
haven't
at
yet.
all, probably.
I'm surprised they didn't blur that out.
Like that alleged NASCAR noose when it was really
And
the
Bubba-
garage. Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't really a noose, I guess.
What a waste of Ted
Jeez, he
DiBiase.
just bitch slapping Virgil,
What a word.
which probably was deserved.
Phil, what do you
Time
think, brother? A
myself a
waste of Ted
noose.
DiBiase?
You know,
I
Could-
mean,
could-
or
could he
could they
still
have
work
done
with-
any less with him other than not have him there?
pretty much. Yeah.
It's sad.
He's well dressed.
He's well dressed, but I mean, he belonged with a heel.
Yeah.
Brutus
and then
beef.
Bischoff said, geez,
Hold
I
on.
want that spot.
Yeah. He's
Hold on.
It's not a face.
Mike Burke says, Dan, what's your thoughts on Brutus the Barber Beefcake as the Zodiac?
Again, I understand why they did it, to appease his buddy, the Hulkster, but I thought it sucked.
Oh, I thought they were talking about the Zodiac Killer.
No.
I was gonna say that, like, didn't like a couple months ago they finally found out who he was and he had died a couple years ago.
The Zodiac Killer?
Yeah.
I remember reading something about that. I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure.
there was some guy on Facebook who was like friends with him, who he had for some reason told he was the Zodiac Killer, and he just posted pictures with him with like, it'd be like me and whatever the guy's name was playing fucking bingo, Zodiac ?
Another great mullet with Scott Norton in the ring now.
He was the real Zodiac Killer. Apparently, it was not Ted Cruz. Believe it or not,
Ted Bundy,
Ted Cruz.
the senator.
Yes. There's a long-standing theory that he was the Zodiac Killer.
Ted Cruz
Yeah.
as a killer.
Yeah. Is it that much of a stretch for you?
Not Ted Bundy. You're thinking Ted Cruz.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
Ted
Cruz
Cruz,
is the
Senator of
politician.
Texas.
Yeah.
Guys, this match is terrible.
Salute.
This match has got awful, guys.
Alan Dershowitz said that Ted Cruz was the brightest student ever in his Harvard class. Actually, I had a client. Charlie's going to be like another Phil story, but I had a training client who was in the same class as Ted Cruz. And she said,
Really?
A training client?
Yeah.
Who are you training?
A woman named Pam. I mean, she's just a.
What kind of training were you doing? This is like a Killer Kowalski school of
This is purely on the physique enhancement and wellness sort of thing.
I
Are
believe
you a
one of
personal
his
trainer? Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe one of his fellow congressmen
Oh.
said you could shoot him in the middle of Congress and no trial in the world could convict you.
This is turning into a
I've heard
schmoz
that.
pretty quick.
Oh God, these
I
guys
see
are
the
gonna.
finish coming for Virgil and his almost homeless person getup. Oh my
Oh,
God.
oh my God! Wow.
Ooh. Oh, wait, Scott with the kick. DiBiase trying to get out. Scott Dickinson is always pulling his pants up. Scott, I don't want to knock you, brother, if you're watching, but you are always pulling your pants up.
Like Davey Boy Smith with his knee pads.
Virgil's not going to Olive Garden tonight. He's
Forget about the breadsticks. He's done.
Yeah.
No, not Randy make the save. Randy said, how the fuck am I making this much money and wind up in this shit?
Mach seemed a little upset at the beginning of the match, and I think. Wow.
Yeah.
You realize Kevin Nash got Christmas weekend.
Do you think
off.
Virgil
And
had
he
a concussion at this point?
What's that now?
Think Virgil had a concussion at this point, or was feeling a little rough?
Um,
I think they all enjoyed.
Potentially. Dan, did Brutus really steal from Hogan? I don't know that to be true. Ric Flair makes some interesting comments sometimes, like when he said he was in Puerto Rico when Brutus Beefcake was murdered,
Oof, that's rough.
when he was on the Great American Bash tour doing war games. But
When Bruiser Brody was murdered.
yeah,
Idiot.
Flair claims he was there for it when he was working in some NWA town for the
I've
Great
never
American
read any
Bash.
account that Flair was actually there.
He wasn't.
Yeah, but he claimed
But he,
to be.
yeah, I don't know why, but it upsets Tony Atlas a great deal.
That
But
Flair-
Macho Man at least got the W here for his team. Scott Dickinson pulls up his pants and tries to explain what happened.
was he even the legal man, Macho? That's what I hate about these
Could
six
you
men.
pay attention to what this schmaz turned into?
Oh, it was an awful match.
But the security guard, I don't think, realizes it's the wrestlers.
Well, it's hosted by Doug Dillinger. You know it's terrible. I
Let's
heard
take
Doug-
a look here in slow-mo.
Oh.
Yeah. Virgil, you know what? At least they put him to work on this one. He was taking some.
Yeah.
He really earned his paycheck, whatever he was making that year.
Electric chair there. by
Dan,
Good
Flash
finish.
Gordon.
At least you know what? He beat some. At least he didn't beat Rick. He
I
beat someone
remember
of
being
relevance.
it's somewhat surprised about that pinfall back then too.
Well, it was
'cause-
Randy. I mean,
Yeah.
should Randy go over on Rick Steiner? No.
Yeah, he could have. Why not?
So
Well, Scott had more credibility of the two.
Did you need more credibility given to Randy? He's Randy Savage.
Well, if you're Randy, do you want to be putting over the undercard guy of the three?
Well, if you're Randy,
Or going over, I
they're
should
gonna
say.
turn Scott heel. Wouldn't it make sense if Rick took the job?
I don't. When did he turn heel? 98.
Like the next month or so,
It was that quick.
January, February.
They're booking
Ooh, they
It
blew
was
the
rapid
hotline.
fire.
Do they think anyone's going to still call the hotline now?
1-900-909-9900.
Gene Mean, yes, right.
John C., you added something I'm sure of great relevance.
I would just a general question. What would you say is like the best event of just like everything you've ever seen.
As far as annually or just individually?
One
Wait,
single event you think that stands out above them all, kind of thing?
Like
Are you saying like
WrestlePalooza
WrestleMania,
97.
where WrestleMania is the biggest event of the year, or one particular event?
Like, yeah, one particular event.
To me, WrestleMania 3 will always stand out as that.
Yeah, in many ways.
In many ways,
The
yeah.
largest crowd, of course.
Which one now? Oh, the crowd,
The
yeah.
crowd.
So you're telling
Well,
me if I want to watch all of them, it peaks at 3?
I don't know if you'd enjoy it compared to maybe what you've seen clips of on social media from the modern era. I would say, honestly, WrestleMania just about every year,
It's hard.
outside of a few since 14, have been pretty good.
Honestly, it's hard to say because because that's like asking a show that you love top to bottom. And a lot of shows, I'll like most of it, but there'll be 1 or 2 matches I don't care for. You know what I mean? Like I watched Clash of the Champions 1 a couple months back. It was a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Except for one match, which was the Dusty Road Warriors match, which was schmoz. But everything else was good to great. You know?
Yeah, Doug, I agree with you. WrestleMania 17 was up there. That was the only WrestleMania I was with them for.
Were you in Houston for that show?
Yeah. Oh, that was 2001. So I was still. It was before July, so I was still there. Dan, I think you like it best because that is when you started your fandom, like myself.
Wait,
Matt, there's something to that. I mean, there was a lot of duds on WrestleMania 3, but
Oh yeah.
just
Butch Reed versus Coco Beware.
everybody, every match, everything on that show was over. That's the thing. Even if you go back to WrestleMania 17, which was a fantastic event from top to bottom, there were some things that didn't have a giant build to it, so to speak. And that's not to knock the event, but I also look at WrestleMania 17 as the end of wrestling as we know it.
What about you, Phil? What was your? I get that, Dan. I agree with that. What about you, Phil? What's one show you're like that was the show?
Hard to pick one.
Well, gun to your head. Give me 3.
3 is great. But 3 was great. First of all, because it was Andre's first recognized loss, I think. Of course, we know, history shows
First
that's not
time
the
he was
case.
slammed,
But,
yeah.
Steamboat Savage. And at that point, as a fan, I thought that was perhaps the greatest match
I love the
ever,
finish of that match too. The finish with George Steele pushing Randy off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the package, the small. Oh, great finish.
Yeah. Hard to say. Just so many, and that's again, and we're going back
Because you could have seen an MSG house show from '85 that was a great show for you. You know what I mean? That could have been.
It's
you know what
funny.
You know what I forgot to do, Dan? I'm sorry to interrupt
Go
you.
right ahead, John. See, Manicus.
I forgot to invite Nick down here.
Who?
Who's this
Nick.
jabron?
Oh, is he on?
Yeah, he's back in town.
File on.
He's still Bill Goldberg.
Until Christmas break is over.
Oh, well, you know what? It doesn't have to be today. I'd love to see Nick.
I'll try next week.
Maybe we can
Wait,
get the Danish boy coming down. The
Wait, what's-
Dutch boy
The
from
little
Holland.
Dutch boy from Holland.
Can we get him
I
down?
don't know. Well, little Dutch boy from Holland owes me a little scratch too, so I'd love to see him. I think Manicus or someone told me they saw him when he was here having his car fixed.
No, it
Look at a
was
slimmer
he was
going
having
on.
his mom was
Right.
having their rug cleaned.
The Simcoes.
Yeah.
What is it with these
Block
people
Lodi
having their
and
rugs
Sick Boy.
cleaned? You know,
Wait,
text
no,
him now.
hold on. Who are you talking about?
The little Dutch boy from Holland.
No, I told you a couple weeks
I
ago.
can
He was
tell
in
you.
the story.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah.
And he came in?
Seeing Tiger Mask.
He
and
came
Dynamite
into the
Kid.
rug store
Oh, gosh,
asking
yeah.
if his rug
Back
was done
then.
yet. It wasn't.
Okay.
Did he say?
Again,
Hi.
well before luchadors and everything else. But
Sean
it's
style stuff.
amazing for its time.
So
It was a peek into the future, is what it was. I mean, you wouldn't be seeing
Do you
this
need
for another
a-
10 to 15 years.
We can
The
look
Phil
at
Dan?
like this nice.
Mongo.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh,
Have you
wait,
seen
a little
the
more.
Mongo clips?
Again, fans,
Yeah.
the super chat is
terrible.
open.
But you know what's
Subtle
crazy?
thing.
He would hit his tombstone finish perfectly, but everything else he fucked up.
Yeah.
Everything else was terrible. But the tombstone, the Dangerous move he had, that looked terrible. That looked great.
Thank you, sir.
But
I see
Mongo was
you're ready to
awful.
fill yours too.
Seriously, maybe the worst wrestler ever to get to that level was Mongo McMichael. But he had great hair though.
You going to do Saturday
I like
Night
him
Main
as a
Event watch
commentator,
alongs?
too.
Oh,
Matt,
great
we have
commentator.
done some, and we're going to
But
do
as a
more in the
wrestler, he
future.
was-
The lapdog and everything, baby.
yeah, just,
He had his little. Didn't he have a little? What was his dog's name?
Beef-
Mongo's name.
Beefy?
He had a little dog. Maybe it might have been.
I bet-
Boston, no, I have
That's-
never subscribed to Sonny's Porn Shows. I think that ship has sailed.
Now he's got Parkinson's, I think, or Alzheimer's. He's got.
Who,
Mongo's-
Sonny?
No,
Oh,
Mongo's
Mongo.
hurting,
Yeah, he's in bad
Look at the
shape.
power of Goldie just picking him up in like a sack of potatoes.
Well, how long was he in wrestling for? 3 years?
Mongo?
Mongo?
He
96 to
started as an
99?
announcer in 95 and morphed into a wrestler in 96 through
I think by 2000 he was done.
99-ish, maybe.
maybe.
I remember-
Yeah. Right around the time Flair came back as a horseman.
I think I remember him taking a suplex and getting a tooth knocked out on one of the, maybe on a Thunder, Mongo,
No, he married a very beautiful woman, in Deborah McMichael,
I should say.
Quincy's friend that he videotaped.
Quincy's very
Deborah
expensive.
Thank you,
McMichael's
John
taste in
C.
men is very interesting. Think about it. Mongo, Austin, and who would be a good? Imagine going to the exact opposite of those guys, like Mongo, Austin, and myself. You know, just a complete
You
180.
want Deborah McMichael.
I don't know if I'd want Deborah McMichael if she dated me, because I'd be very different than a Mongo or an Austin. I'm not that kind of guy.
Well,
you know what
I got to say this. I have knocked Terry Runnels to no end. I have knocked subtly a woman that was with us in November. But Terry Runnels, no, oh, please,
Subtly.
please,
Subtly.
please, Terry Runnels, that gutter pig. How did I even say that? Deborah McMichael is a first-class lady.
Seems very classy, yeah.
First, not just a woman, a first-class lady.
She seems like a nice lady.
It was funny. I told her the Terry Runnels story without naming the name. And Deborah said, "Does her first name begin with a T?" I said, "Yes, it does." She knew exactly who and what I was talking about, which is sad, but
Validating.
yes. Kevin, the studio is located in Melrose, Massachusetts. The zip code of champion
When did she get
02176.
her breast done, Deborah McMichael? What year was that? I don't know what year that was. 95-ish, 6? No, maybe a little bit.
I don't know. I don't want to sound like a geek, but I know the daughter of the woman who performed some of China's enhancements up in
Really?
New Hampshire. Yes.
Wow.
Enhancements.
Yes.
I thought
You're
China
saying
was,
that
I actually
China
thought
wasn't
I
natural.
actually thought China was a beautiful woman back in the day. I really do.
When? At what point?
Like from 97 to about 2005-ish, 6. I think that whole run. I don't know. She looked different. I thought she was a beautiful girl. I thought
When she was
She
in her
went from
natural
looking like
state.
Herman
I've
Munster.
never seen a woman in wrestling that wasn't beautiful.
And I don't know what happened when she went and had that cosmetic surgery, but it was like her head was about 26 inches long.
I don't know. I've never seen a woman in wrestling I thought was that ugly. Okay, except Moolah
Oh,
and
I
Mae Young.
disagree with you, but you're entitled to your
I
opinion.
thought Luna Vachon was a beauty. She stood out. Say what you want. She stood out.
She stood out. I'm thinking of she was in the locker room the
Let me-
first
I
time I
will
was
say
ever in
this.
the locker room.
I'll say
with
this
the
about
old
China.
guy.
You could say what you want about her looks, but she was more over than 90% of the women in wrestling.
I'm
especially
not
now.
talking about how over she was. I'm talking about her physical appearance, which was
She stood out. there.
manly and grotesque, to be quite honest.
I met her only once and didn't get a good impression.
Pre-DX, she was very nice. Post-DX, she was,
Yeah.
So the prettier she got, the worse she became inside.
I don't know at what point she became pretty.
Prettier, I should say.
I don't know at what point that was.
Yeah.
I admit I still bought that magazine when it came out,
Oh.
though.
You could hang Christmas ornaments off.
She's a big lady. What was she, like 6 feet tall?
5'9".
5'9"?
No, she wasn't Amazon.
Maybe I thought 6 feet because she had the pumps and the heels and the boots.
John C., what is this
Yeah.
cup that you have?
I got it from the Christmas party.
That was what you got from the Christmas grab? Was a cup with a candy cane and a ribbon?
I got 4 of them and some.
4 of them? What the fuck are you going to do with that?
The thing, this guy 6
If you
months
could
later
see
become world
John C.
champion.
Manicus Riley's cup, I don't know how many birdseed sized teeth you could fit down the straw, but
It's a Yankee cup,
Mhm.
Yankee swap.
but why 4 of them? I mean, are you going to give them as gifts, or
It was in like a pack.
it was a package of cups?
Yeah.
4 is a curious number.
That's a lot of cups. Are they all identical?
No.
A lot of cups, not so much. A lot of wives. I'd say.
All Christmassy? Oh, geez, John, you're right over there. You're like
I
me.
guess you've had 3
You're
cups
like
already.
Lou when he swallows one of his birdseed-sized teeth. You're choking.
But the idea of Goldberg plopping over
Salute
Mongo
to
into
you.
a table is hilarious to me. Like
Yeah.
just him throwing Mongo through a table was just hilarious.
The idea that they thought this was a good match to put on pay-per-view
Oh, my God,
is hilarious to
Who's
me.
is that? Who's the referee? in this
Women's Randy Pee Wee Anderson.
one? Yes, thank you. Good referee.
There were so many guys that could have made Goldberg look so good in 3 or 4 minutes as opposed to this garbage. Steve McMichael is one of the worst regulars I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I know that comment comes out a lot.
Again, he
on
had
the
great
show,
hair.
but-
That was about it.
I'm gonna have to turn my mic off every time I'm not talking. Because when I have the hiccups,
Yeah.
I have them bad.
Bad hiccups.
Like I'll have hiccups for like an hour and a half at a time.
Oh,
Excuse
there
me.
goes you walk through the table.
There it is. You called that.
Yeah.
We used to get a spoonful of sugar when we were kids. For
You have
hiccups.
Sonny and
Who
Marty on
gave
the
it to you,
show
Mary
at the same
Poppins?
time. I don't know about that,
That's
boss.
only for the medicine to go down.
I'll tell you this. I'd be very interested to have Sonny on the show. I think it could make for some good
Oh,
material.
she's gross, dude.
I'm not saying I wanted to strip. I'm saying for an
No.
interview.
She just seems gross. She just
Well-
seems like she'd give you a staph infection by looking at her.
Jesus Christ.
Just by looking at her.
Yeah.
Really? You have some strong opinions
I
about
don't know.
Sonny. I'd say you'd think she was cloudy, but WWF had a cloudy for a brief period of time in
Yes.
'96. Jimmy Shoulders, or whatever his name was. Guys, you having fun tonight on the watch along? If you are, the super chat is open for business. I look like the world's oddest Santa Claus, or what did you say? I look like a geisha girl?
Mrs. Blassie.
I actually met Mrs. Blassie at a Cauliflower Rally
I
Club, so
love
I know
it.
exactly who you mean. A
Goldberg
very
was
classy
great.
lady, just like her husband.
Goldberg
I
looked
did-
great
I
here.
met him in
Mongo was
95.
Michael.
Charlie China had a huge vajayjay.
Well, there's that porno with her and X-Pac. And,
I missed
I've
that
seen-
one too,
I
believe
haven't
it
seen
or not.
that, but I've seen clips of the Sunny one, and she queefs mid scene.
That's a word I didn't think I'd hear on set.
Now you heard it.
Doctor Who, what, where? Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Santa Claus, Mrs.
Ooh.
Claus, I think.
Barely got him over.
Boston says have Sonny and Marty on the show at the same time.
Yeah, we read that. Can you
Oh,
imagine
I'm,
that?
I'm sorry.
And then throw
I
Norton.
think
I
Marty
need a
and the
refresh.
Berserker would be fun.
Yeah.
Like a New Year's Eve
That's
special.
what
Oh
I
my
said.
God.
That's why I said to you. And then I said, book them in the same hotel room. They get the same hotel room.
Oh God.
Order the lampshades now.
Hey, Marty, if you're going to show up drunk, stay home. I'll show up. I love John.
I'd love to see them live together.
Oh my God.
That'd be a great
That would be
sitcom or a reality show.
an amazing
Is it-
season of Big
Is it
Brother.
still Hanukkah? Well, if it's still Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah.
I think Hanukkah has passed.
Well, all right, I guess a belated
I
happy
can still wish
Hanukkah.
it.
Someone left the symbol here on the
Oh,
chat.
Raven.
Stingers, welcome to you.
Is that a Dinosaur Jr. t-shirt too? he's wearing?
Oh
You got a
shit.
little
I
Raven
love
action
Dinosaur
going
Jr.
on.
Well, that's what he's wearing. I think this was
They're-
Raven at his
they're,
peak. Look at Raven, how cool he looked. This was one
Dino-
sexy motherfucker back in the day. Look at him.
Dinosaur Jr. is a Massachusetts band.
Oh, are they? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I
I
believe-
never listened to them. I just know the name.
I believe they're from
Are they a rock band?
from Amherst. Yeah, it's sort of like shoegaze or grunge.
Like a sludgy grunge band, kind of?
Sludgy? What do you mean by sludgy?
Like dun 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 dun. Slow, kind of.
They
like a crowbar?
No, they were very effect heavy.
Okay.
They have a lot of guitar pedals,
Oh,
at least
okay.
in their earlier stuff.
All right. David Penzer, one of my favorite ring announcers.
Why do you like him?
He just sounded excited. I just love Penzer. It's amazing how quickly Raven aged, though, over like say 10 or so years from this point.
Hard living, baby.
Hard living, like
Yeah.
looked great in '97.
You got
By
that right, kid.
05, he looked rough.
Remember when a fan, and that wasn't an incident, but he snuck up on him and pulled him out of the ring by the back of his
And he
hair?
screamed. He was like, "Yeah, I'm
Dan-
He's
Dan,
screaming.
Matthew Holland says have Abraham Lincoln on.
Unfortunately, I don't think he's still with us. But maybe in a previous studio in a previous lifetime, we did the Abraham Lincoln shoot on how he shot.
What do you think about the eyebrow ring? Not really a big fan of it.
I think it fit his look.
His look. Yeah.
Maybe makes Hardway a little easier. I don't
I feel
know.
like that would hurt a lot to get.
Oh, we're gonna get Benoit coming out.
Not as painful as your chest, I can tell you.
You got a chest piercing?
Perhaps a double.
You have your
Wow.
nipples pierced? That's hardcore.
Speaking of
I don't
hardcore, one
advocate
of
this for the
Raven's
kids at
former
home.
ECW alumni, Perry
I
Saturn.
met Perry. I did a ring seminar with Perry Saturn.
I was part of a hit that was involved with Perry Saturn.
A what?
A what?
A hit.
What do you mean a hit?
A hit. Not an actual death, but a wrestling hit.
What does that mean, you carny?
Oh, we have to go back to the
That's it.
summer
That's
of
a visit.
1995. The Champs Arena in Salisbury Beach. One of my favorite
Yeah.
times ever in pro wrestling. There was a guy that had quite an independent wrestling attitude for himself.
What was his name?
Thought he was a SWAT. He thought he was a badass. Thought he was a tough guy. And the promoter said, you know what? We're going to put him and his partner, intern number one, in there with
Iron Horse, Perry Saturn.
it was Saturn and Cronus, the Eliminators.
Love Cronus.
And they did a tag team match together, and they said to, I can't remember the intern's name other than his first name was Roger. They said, stay out of the ring. And they beat the ever-living fuck out of SWAT to the point they called the police.
Wow.
And we had the video of it. So we had to sneak out the back door with the camera and the footage
evidence,
and
Exhibit
get out
A.
of Salisbury. But being the curious cats we were, we had to see what the fuck was going on. So we drove a little and we drove back all the way around to the front of the arena. There were 4 or 5 squad cars for a wrestling match. It was unfucking believable. And it was a summer, I think it was because they did Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon at like 4.
Yeah.
I think it was the Saturday night show, if I remember right. And, you know, this back at Salisbury Beach, there were people galore up there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they were all wanting to know what was going on. And I don't know what was happening on the inside, but we had to see what the front of Champs looked like. And it was mayhem.
Yeah.
What happened to the
Andy-
guy? Was he just that badly? Was he beaten? Was he bloody?
They beat the fuck out of him. They adjusted his attitude. But I'll say this, to his credit, I think they did either a Japan or an ECW tour, the Eliminators, after the fact. And the next time they came back through Champs, he was very apologetic. So you got to give credit where credit is due.
Did he end up doing anything in the business or no?
What's that now?
Did he end up doing anything in the business, that guy?
Indie guy. He actually lived on the same street as me at one point.
Really?
The victim?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, I'm not one for visits.
Yeah.
By the way, Saturn's got some hair still at this point. Saturn was still rocking a little bit of hair.
You know, the sad thing is, I hate to say it, but Perry turned into a real dickhead the bigger he got.
He
And I liked,
turned into a real
young
big,
Perry was a really good guy.
Mhm.
But when he became a star, he turned into a dickhead. I ran into him at Kowloon one time with a friend of mine. I went up and said hello. He used to come down the old version of the studio down the street almost weekly to work
Yeah.
on his promos. And he acted like he had no idea who I was. And I was really surprised.
He could have been
What year
so
was that?
altered too, you know.
He was with Vince. So it would have been,
2001, 2002.
I was with my friend from Vermont and we were at Kowloon. I'm going to guess it was if I remember right, it was the spring of 02. And you know, it was like, I knew him from the Indies.
He might have been one.
I was around ECW because that's just how the way things work.
Yeah.
I was in WWE when he was there.
Oh,
And he's going to act like he doesn't know who I am. Fuck that. And I said, you know what I said that day to my friend? I said, I will never fucking book him. And look at what happened to the poor guy. Wound up homeless,
Yeah.
raggedy.
Had it rough.
yeah.
So sometimes you reap what you sow. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I got to meet him years after that. After, you know, this was like maybe 3 years ago, and I couldn't. He was definitely a lot more fragile physically. But I will say this: I watched a video of him. I guess there was this old. I think it was based out of Revere. Maybe these two guys were doing interviews.
Probably Len Kaplan.
Maybe, but he was a guest on the show. It's on YouTube somewhere, and he had the long black hair and the stubble beard.
Was
and he
he
was
the
only
guy-
like maybe in his
Was he the Iron Horseman at that
yes,
point?
I think so. And this was probably like 92, 93, and he's probably like in his mid 20s maybe. And Perry Saturn back in the day was a ruggedly handsome looking guy. He didn't look like this yet, not like that, Dan, you
Yeah,
little
well,
pervert. But he did not look like this at that time yet. He was muscular, but he had this look about him. And Paul Richard was telling me a little bit about Perry because him and Paul, I guess, were
They
friends.
were
for a
tight.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He got Paul into ECW
Yeah.
to promote, and Paul wound up promoting, as you know, the local shows before Quinlan did.
Paul
Yeah.
Richard has a very interesting
Yeah.
story, and it's a shame. I wish he could get on one of these interviews and talk about it a little bit.
It's from Peabody or
No, we don't
somewhere.
need that.
He lived in Wakefield last time.
Wakefield. Oh.
He was in Peabody. I know
Yeah.
that. No, he can.
He might still be in Wakefield. I remember where he lived.
He's been having some problems with the concussions. But he was trying to get in on the Vince lawsuit. So
Oh.
I don't know what his memory
He
would
lives
be
by
like.
the Bell Time Club.
Yeah.
I know that.
He lives. Jesus Christ.
Or he lived. I actually watched the WrestleMania with him. The one where it ends with Brock beating Roman. And that's how it ends.
34.
34 then.
Well, I'm glad you were there, and I was in New Orleans. But
Benny
anyway.
and I and
That was the night. Oh, I hate. Should I even say? Yeah, that was the night Bob Orton passed out in the front of the car because he smoked a little gimmick.
wasn't that the one where Virgil was harassing you? throughout
Yes,
the
and that
night?
was the same weekend. Poor Bob Orton had a bad back issue. I don't know how else to describe it. Al Snow had to perform Reiki on him on the floor at WrestleMania.
Perform what?
I love
Reiki?
that.
You must know Reiki.
I know what
Yeah.
Reiki is. It's a hands-off or hands-free healing.
And of course, I had a picture of it.
John C. is looking and so perplexed.
Let's say, how do you spell it?
Reiki, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But no, it's very effective. I've had it done too. So there's some validity to
I
it.
bet-
And Bob was hurting, and Bob, he had a little gimmick. And when we were taking,
Did you see? Was his son on that show? Did you see this? Did you see Randy that weekend?
No, we dropped him at the airport before we went to Mania. That was
Oh.
our last stop before we went to whatever the Superdome, Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
So he was
is.
flying out.
Yeah. And what he did was, as soon as he got to the airport, he took off his cowboy hat and he put on an RKO hat.
Did he really?
I don't know why, and it was funny because when we picked him up, he flew in with Randy, but to kayfabe that it was Randy, I think the limousine driver had up a sign that said Keith Orton, which is Randy's middle name,
That's right.
and
yeah.
we took Bob. But Bob Orton's a great
Have you-
guy,
have
but
you met-
he smoked a little gimmick.
Yeah. You know, you
Yeah.
said good things about Bob. Have you met Randy though?
Yeah.
Randy.
I was on the Randy bus at Royal Rumble. Which was the one in Boston? 03. It should
Okay.
be easy to remember.
Cool guy.
He did. He helped us with some stuff for one of our live events because of the dad.
Oh.
Great guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never had to encounter working with him professionally, which almost like Hogan is a different experience. But I thought he was just a cool guy.
Yeah.
I think he's 6 months older than me.
Yeah.
So, we're around the same age. I like him an awful lot.
Looks phenomenal.
Never mind what I think of him as a talent.
Um,
Danny was fucked up on meth. Who was Boston? Mike Burkoffen, you like my shirt, baby? It's Christmas time.
I can only
It's
imagine
Christmas time.
Dan walking around
in
the French
city.
Quarter in New Orleans, and all the different things that he could get up to as well.
Who did we have with us that year? It's a different combination in all of them, which makes it funny. We had Little Cena, Dave Carter.
Oh God,
We had the little Dutch
That's-
boy from Holland.
that groveler.
We
that's
had
awesome.
our friend Mike Hollian from Pennsylvania, who you've never met. I think that was the group we had, and it was fun. One of the
I hear that's a fun party town. Like if you want to go and have a good time, that's the place to go to. You might lose your kidney the next day, but that'd be the place to go to.
See, you know what? I'm not the type that goes, oh, let me go drink. As you've seen,
Yeah.
I'm one that enjoys a beverage, or a few,
In a satellite office.
at a satellite office. But I'm not one of these people that says, oh, I'm going to go drink, because it's people drink.
Yeah.
It's like when I go to that beautiful city over there, I've never done that there. Not to say that I haven't partaken
Right.
in beverages.
No, I
but
can relate. I'm not a drinker myself, so it's
But the
like
beautiful
I've
city
never
over
set
there,
out
he means
my
Las
day to
Vegas.
say, oh, I'm going to drink. I don't understand that, but for younger crowds, I get it. I was actually named the MVP of a hockey game at UVM in Burlington, Vermont back in 2002. A, I have never played hockey.
Oh,
and B,
my,
I don't know how to skate.
My
C,
si-
I never went to UVM. But anyway,
my sister just got accepted at UVM.
oh, she'll have a lot of fun. That's a
Congratulations.
great city.
Burlington.
Oh, I know. I've been to Burlington. It's a
love
great
It's,
city.
what's it like? I hear it's like a cool. It's like a Cambridge.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say so. Bernie was
It's-
the mayor up there many years.
Yeah, his office is still up there.
Yeah,
The reason
I've
I
met him a
was
few times.
the reason I was up there was because beyond the craziness that partook that, it was the only time I have ever had beer.
Oh, have what?
Beer.
Really?
I don't like
and
beer.
I must have had over a dozen.
Beer
And it
is
meant
overrated.
nothing to me.
I've never
It
been.
sucked. The
Yeah.
taste sucked.
Beer
I
is
got no
overrated.
buzz. What's that?
I said beer is overrated.
I remember trying to cross the street from one frat house to where my friend's frat house was. Oh, God. If there was video of me trying to cross that street, Winooski Street, I think was the name of it in Burlington. That would be priceless footage, but I'm glad it doesn't exist. And smartphones weren't
Was that
around.
Kane Frogger
in
trying to
02.
cross the street? Yeah, it was like in
Oh,
Frogger.
I was
Did
my
it Seinfeld doing that
It must
too.
have looked like
Oh yes, I remember that one.
The piano.
it must have looked something like when Elaine tried to do that dance on Seinfeld.
Thumbs up.
But I had a great time. I loved it up there. I had such a great friend up there that would invite me up. Our plan was, believe it or not,
great.
was to try and rent the Burlington Memorial Auditorium for a big, big, big event. And then I don't know if it's because I mentioned it to someone in WWE, but all of a sudden after years, they started booking the Burlington Memorial Auditorium. I couldn't fucking believe it.
Yep.
They didn't use that place literally for years.
How many people can you get in there though?
What's that
How
now?
many people does it fit? 5,000?
No, maybe a little over 2.
Yeah.
Almost like the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. Beautiful. You would have needed a loaded lineup, but it was a college town.
How far
They
is the
sold
drive from
booze.
here? Two and
What's
a half
that now?
hours? Was it 2.5 hour drive?
Probably a little more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably about 3.
But I flew. I love Burlington. That was a funny
Oh, yeah, because they
story.
got the little airport there.
What's
yeah.
that now?
They got the little airport there.
It's so easy to get through. It was the only flight
Is it the
I've ever
Ravens
been
rules?
on where I was the only
I don't know.
person on the flight.
Well, yeah, they just
The flight attendant sat with me. She's like, "You want a drink?" I'm like, "Yeah."
they
She goes, "You
probably
want
take
more
a
pretzels?"
Cessna
I'm
up
like,
there.
She goes, "You want another drink?" I'm like, "Yeah." We had an hour to be up in the air or whatever, because I think they connected. It was Burlington, Boston, Newark. And the flight attendant, I don't want to say stewardess, the flight attendant sat with me. We had fun. Perry was is madly in love with Terry Reynolds. I didn't know that, Boston. I would like to talk with Perry if that's the case. I think he'd be better off homeless than hooking up with her. But
How distressed
Anyway.
would you be if you found out that one of your friends had sex with Terry Reynolds?
I felt for New Jack.
I heard that he said she was a bit of a freak.
Yes, that she left her bedroom door open while she was eating his ass for her daughter to see. I'd say
No.
it was freaky.
Now, Dan, do you think
Highly
I
disturbing.
bought the sandwich?
You think?
Who would eat?
Do you think I bought the sandwich that put
Don't even know where to
New
begin
Jack
with any
over
of
the
this.
edge?
Yes, I know. I'm
Will
sorry,
you
Phil.
stop,
No.
John C? Don't even think that.
I know.
Vulgar activities.
I've just had this like
Oh,
small
God,
Did you
little,
ever
jeez.
have,
this
did you ever
little
have
guilt.
that thought?
like
that the
I've
hammer?
had this like tiniest bit of guilt.
Billy Kidman.
If it was the next day, maybe. But it was 6 days after the fact that he passed
Oh, there's Van
away.
Hammer.
I regret not coming down and seeing him too.
We
Back
had
when he
Like
so
was-
much fun.
obviously there was other factors.
We would have created such a great series for the fans.
And he's nothing like his on.
Oh, he was
Nothing
su-
with her.
he
Nothing.
he was super
Oh.
smart, super nice.
a super good dude. Yeah.
You know what
See
sucks
he's-
about
I knew
that?
him.
Yeah,
I knew
no.
him for one
had-
day, and I
had a
miss
few
him.
chances
You know what
to-
sucks about that is that you guys had him in May, and I think
Right.
the first time I came down here was in June for Marty, and I was like, I wish I should have came down for New Jack.
You definitely picked the wrong
I
one.
almost did.
I love Marty, but I would have loved to have met Jack.
Well, Phil was the other day that Marty fell through the wall.
I caught him in one of them.
Then he was in your car for about 3 hours and claimed I wouldn't let him in the
Probably
door,
mic'd up too. You know?
even though I was nowhere near the door.
Love MJ.
We love him.
We
Yeah,
love
I
him big time.
We wish we
I
could
wish
get
I
the
got to meet
MJ
you.
back that was with us November 13th.
And I would love
He
to meet
needs
Jack because I have a
great
friend who's a big
bird
New Jack
jacket.
fan. I don't
needs
even care, but I would
professional
like to
help.
say it just for my friend.
And I have tried. I mean, I have tried with WWE. I have tried with WWE's addict specialist. I have tried with the guy that's now in charge of, I don't know if I don't want to give a description of this. I'm not 100% sure the terminology, but the man that AEW entrusts with the mental health of their talents, and he just doesn't want it. He doesn't think he needs it.
He needs it. He has like I watched that
It's sad.
Thanksgiving. I've
He's
watched
a
that
good human being.
that Thanksgiving episode. Like he's such a
Wasn't that
damaged
sad?
like not even from WWE, all the the drug use, but like deep down, he's such a damaged
He's got a lot of
person.
personal issues. Growing up, CTE,
Like that,
alcoholism. there's all
everything
that
he went
stuff.
through is tough. I 100% believe him on his story about
The Chattahoochee.
yes. I like
Oh, I think that was just a cry for help.
John.
I don't believe the story about the Chattahoochee.
like I saw that episode. He seemed like at that level of intoxication. You don't lie about that kind of stuff.
I forget the fries.
Well, it was.
You should have seen me
The
in that
frosty.
car sitting there. I'm
Frosties.
literally just sitting there looking straight ahead and like, what the fuck is going on with my life? What am I doing?
John Nord was practically sitting next to me. He was back so far in the
Yeah.
seat.
And getting into the car took forever. It took 20 minutes for him to get in the car.
When you get into it,
I
sink
felt
it all.
so bad, Dan. I felt so bad about him getting in the car. Oh my guy, my boy.
Yeah.
I felt so bad about him getting in the car. I almost wanted to sell out the next day to get an SUV or something higher so he could get in the next time more comfortably. I felt
At least
He's a really good guy, though. I love John Nord.
Speaking of getting into and out of a car, I loved his story about Andre.
Oh, getting stuck in the car. They had a, well, yeah. You know, Gorilla Monsoon used to request vinyl seats in his rentals because
Did he?
so he could slide out. Otherwise, he'd get stuck too. Yeah. 1987, outside the Worcester Centrum before the show, the wrestlers would come in and you could see them pull up in the cars and get out, what have you. And I think they could even drive into the
Were you
arena.
over the young lass waiting for the boys to pull up?
No, but I saw Lincoln Continental and Kamala had a ski mask on. When he got out of the car rose like
Would
6
Kamala wear a
inches.
he mask?
He was wearing
Good for
protect the
him.
gimmick. Yeah, he's
Good for
protecting
I
the gimmick.
respect him.
Yeah. But the Lincoln Continental, I think it was a Lincoln, and just came 6 inches off the ground. He was so big.
He was enormous.
Yeah.
He was here in studio.
Yeah.
When they're bigger than me, you know it's a big guy.
Yeah.
Is the way I look
But
at
you
it.
know what?
Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. Brian Forrest,
all
hello
the guys
from
would drive
Bronx,
these
New
big,
York.
huge cars.
I'll
They
be
didn't
in
have really
Brooklyn
SUVs
this
as
week,
much
so
as
come
today.
by and
No
say
one
hi.
had-
You're gonna be in
Lincoln was the
Brooklyn?
choice.
I'm going to
You
be
drove
in
a Lincoln or a
Brooklyn. John,
Cadillac,
see if you
something
had the
big
need for a
sedan with-
refill, brother.
column shifter and bench
Yeah.
seat, and that's what you did.
Yeah.
And it made
Guys,
sense.
again, the
Yep.
super chat is open for
What do you want to drive a
business.
Honda Civic 50,000 miles a year? Come on.
No way.
Here comes Lex Luger.
Oh, looking great. Two guys who look great.
Asshole Lex before he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Both of these guys, great bodies, great physiques, complete assholes, but very talented. Both of them very talented.
Well, you know what? I have to say this. What a nice, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
What a nice guy he's turned into now. You know, there's a lot of those
sure.
guys when they turn to God, it's a
Yeah.
gimmick to try and write off taxes and whatnot. Him, I full-heartedly believe.
There's a
And I
show.
hope at some point he gets out of his wheelchair.
There's a show on YouTube I saw. I'm not going to plug them because they're not going
Please,
to be,
thank you.
because I know how anal you get about that stuff. But
Me? Anal?
I'm not
Never.
anal. But so Phil, you'd love this. So the interviewer is interviewing Buff and Lex, and
Yeah.
Buff starts,
Together?
yes, they're on split screen, and Buff starts talking about health issues, and he's like, I have a friend, Scott Steiner. He has low testosterone. It's like out of 4. His testosterone's out of 4. That's the number 4. His testosterone is at.
Single digit 4.
Yeah, single digits. And Lex stops him about 20 seconds in and says, way to go, Buff, for letting everyone know what Scott Steiner's personal health issues are. And they all just start laughing. And
HIPAA
it's-
violations.
yeah, and it's on YouTube right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure Scott Steiner loved that, knowing people like, hey, they go up to him like this, like the horseman.
Buff wasted potential. Everybody wanted to do something with him. No, thank you, buddy. No one wanted to deal with him. But as I say to you, who I love to deal with, our great fans at home,
I love his haircut.
salute.
Great haircut.
Floyd,
I love
the super chat is open for business.
Affinity for the Caesar
Making
haircut.
drinks. Do you like the Caesar look?
I had a Caesar about 6 or 7 months ago. I love him.
Folks, the Patreon is open for business. We're going to have a special John Nord Christmas special. You won't find it on YouTube.
Could you
Santa's
see
not
him
coming down your
Could
chimney,
you
but
see
John
him as
Nord
Santa?
is.
My lord. Huh?
John Nord and I watch his championship match with Bret the Hitman Hart from November of 1992.
He wasn't
John
happy
is
with
not very complimentary of the Hitman.
Yeah.
But join the Boston Wrestling Patreon. You'll have the time of your life. I'm going to put the link on. Jesus, I can't even spell at this point. Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Keep Wrestling Legends working. We want to have John back in January. We want to have Marty back ASAP so we can continue the party with Marty.
Both
I'm-
had the
I'm
eyebrow
misspelling
gimmick
everything.
back then, before it was in. Remember the eyebrow gimmick, the little Metro kind of thing.
Yeah,
It looks
I
like
think Bagwell is a.
maybe they were shaved and
I
they
like.
just
He seems
stenciled
like
them
a
in.
cool guy when he's sober and clean. I think he's a cool
Who
guy.
are you talking about now?
Bagwell.
Marcus
He was a
Alexander.
douche.
Well, I think nowadays.
He was a douche then.
Well, I don't know. I've seen some interviews with him. He seems like a cool guy. I like him. I'm sure there's people that
I've
you like that I think
never
would be
interacted
douchey.
with them.
What's that now?
I'm sure there's people that you like that I think would be giant douchebags.
Any examples?
Well, I mean, the Nasty Boys.
Sacco's friends?
Osaka's a bit of a douchebag too.
Jerry
fucking
Sags.
is.
Jerry Sags was a phenomenal
Did you meet him?
interview.
I can see.
He's a little bit of a douche. Sacco.
Jerry Sags was a phenomenal interview.
He's not.
Was he the easiest person to deal with? No.
He's not a warm and fuzzy guy, Sacco. We'll put it that way. He's not exactly a guy that you meet and you're like, wow, what a nice guy.
Brian Knobs
And neither of the Nasty Boys either, right?
No.
was just, with his health issues, was just a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Hell, nice guy, but we didn't get the content with him we thought we were going to get, which was very important for the toy drive. Then we did the cyber autograph signing, and there were technical problems where I had to get up and fix it.
How long ago
And
was that?
came
About
and
a year
took my
ago?
spot, and it was a disaster.
Was that about a year
The
ago?
fans hated Sacco, and the fans hated the Nasty Boys.
Yeah, I hope the
I think
fans
That
would.
was December of last year.
By the way, I like how you say the fans hated Sacco. I tell you, he's a douchebag. Phil says, "I can see it." Do you see the? Do you see the pattern here?
I think I've spent enough time
I don't
with
think he's a
him
bad guy. I don't know him, but
that you guys.
He's not. I don't think he's an actual douchebag, but he's not someone I want to be around much. He doesn't seem very nice to be around.
No, he says you can be a lot of fun. I think the thing with him is he's young for one, and he's trying to figure out how to fit in a world he has no training in.
did a great job ring announcing, I think.
You know what's
and,
Well, we got various reports.
What I think
all right.
what actually helps me fit into this world,
maybe
and
not.
this is my own experience. Well, I can't really say it's just you can do this because I did it. But one thing I've learned is when the legends come in, I try to talk to them about things they did in their career that no one really thinks of. Like I ask him questions about Mid-South. He's like, you know about Mid-South? I'm like, yeah.
You know about Mid-South?
You know that, like they like that shit. They do.
I forgot the phrase.
And we certainly won't talk about here, but in the episodes, I'm sure he talks about his brawl with Butch Reed, huh? Does he? Or did I mention that at all? Maybe that's something to ask about. He had I guess, a real.
I'm trying to
Mid-South
think
stuff's
how.
really interesting.
I know we taped, I think, 12
Yeah,
episodes.
you did a lot.
How many are
But
in
I
this?
I won't delve into
I
it.
think it did come up at one point.
Yeah.
You know what it was? I think we were talking about wrestlers that passed in 2021,
Oh, yeah.
and Reed was one of them.
Yeah,
And he talked about the incident,
sure.
what took place, how it happened, and how it was resolved.
Yeah. I'll be curious.
So you guys
hear
have that to look forward to
Yeah, I
on
wanna hear-
Wrestling Insiders. Throwback Thursdays, every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after, Impact on AXS TV. No, I hope you guys enjoyed John Nord as much as I did. Mike
was a
Burke,
character.
Coffin, rest in peace, New Jack, you're right.
Yeah.
Don the Barber, Buff bought me a shot
Really?
at Kowloon, or I don't know what you're trying to say.
See,
Before
Buff's a good dude.
I got sober. Good for you for getting sober, Don the Barber. I'm
Right on,
proud of
brother.
you, buddy.
And good for Buff for buying the shot. Let's get the
Shout
guy-
out to Marty. Mike, I don't know if he's watching, but we'd love to have Marty back to kick off season 2 of Wrestling Insider Special Edition. I'll put up the link
Can I make
to
a
the Indiegogo campaign. Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think, and I was telling this to Jackie the Joke Man while he was telling me about his poundings that he's been going through.
A lot of pounding.
A lot of poundings.
Yeah.
And people that he's going for anyone now. Anyone with a pulse and even
He'll
people without
pound
pulse.
anyone.
Yeah, anyone. Anyone.
We have to warn customers at the store.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Male, female, old,
Well, you know
young.
And to be honest, Jackie lives above the rug store, so the pounding is going on above the rug sales.
Do you think he does anything on the rugs?
Is this a pugilistic pounding or a
Physical
in the
pounding.
biblical sense?
I don't know about the biblical.
Let's just say
sense.
that there's some hammering on some.
We're not talking Greg Valentine.
No, we're not.
I don't think there's any anti-action.
I
going
think
on
that
with
Marty
Jackie.
will return in 2022. I'm thinking probably it's going to be at least 4 or 5 months in, but I think by summertime, I think Marty. That's my prediction. Marty will be back by summer.
What about Mr. USA Tony Atlas? Do you think
Well,
he'll ever return?
I don't
after
know
his
because
step?
Tony has his own deal with other people right now, I believe.
I don't think it's an exclusive deal by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, if Tony were to come back, I think that this would be the time to do it.
Now
or never.
why do you say that out of curiosity?
Because I think it's been about a year, and I think that at this
10
point,
months, yeah.
you're at a point where you've shown that you really don't need Tony to keep the show going. You've
No.
had other avenues, and I think Tony is getting older. And I think maybe that you talk about all the wrestlers die. I'm not saying Tony's going to die tomorrow, but I'm just saying that you are a busy man. Tony wants to make as much money as he can. I think maybe now is the time to cash in after a year away.
I just wonder if Tony realizes in his own
Because if he
brain,
doesn't get it now, I don't think he'll ever get it.
outside of his lies, between what he got paid to come down here to do the interviews, what he got paid for the cyber autograph signings, whatever he sold, between the money that he got from the drawings that I'd set up for him, between the money for personal appearances that I never took a penny of a percentage of, how much money he wound up losing over the course of these 10 months. It's, I'm not saying enough to make him rich, but was it enough to pay for his mortgage every month? I bet you it was pretty close. He didn't have a huge mortgage, but he had a hard time paying it.
Could he afford the new steps for his porch?
As I rolled into the street on July 4th, back in 2020.
Who drove you up there?
Huh?
Who drove you up there? How did you? That wasn't?
I know Glantz was there that day.
Right,
I don't
Glantz.
remember if Sacco was there that day. I just remember putting my foot down in one of the holes in the concrete steps. There was no guardrail for me to hold on to, and I just rolled into the street. And as the fireworks went off, no one heard my pleas for help. As I was like a bag of garbage rolling down Auburn Street. Oh, no, he lives in Auburn, on Newberry Street in Auburn, Maine.
Auburn,
You
Maine's a nice
doxing
quaint town.
Tony right now?
What's that now?
You doxing Tony right now?
Doxing?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Revealing his address.
Oh, well, you can Google it, couldn't you?
Probably
He didn't say
not.
the house number.
That's the house number, yeah. Or Millionaires Boulevard in Auburn, Maine, as I used to like to call it.
Oh, that's. Well, watch. You look up the street. There's 5
Poor
houses.
Tony.
You just go until you find Tony Atlas.
It's not a sprawling metropolis.
No,
Auburn, I
Maine.
don't
Well,
think.
Maine.
I
No
don't know.
place.
I've never been to Auburn.
No
Maine.
place in Maine has more than
I think.
100,000 people. No town, like the most populated town in Maine is
Even
66,000
Portland doesn't
people.
have 100,000?
Portland's got like 67.
That's it?
Yeah.
To be
Jesus.
fair, Maine is fucking beautiful.
It's
But
beautiful. There's
Portland's
just
got
not
a
much
minor league
people. I'm
baseball
not saying
team,
it's a
too.
bad place. I'm just saying there's not many. If you
Yeah.
want to go meet people,
Sea
don't go to
Dog, yeah.
Maine. There's just not many people.
If
Unless
you
there's
want,
one I
if you
don't
want
know of.
a beautiful place to be, go to Maine.
Well, if you like
What
the
is
winter
so
time.
beautiful about Maine other than Auburn?
The lack of people,
I-
I think, for some. I don't know.
Well, the-
I mean, a lot of the
and-
coastline is beautiful.
And they have in the wilderness, and if you're a skiing and snowboarding person,
Oh
Maine-
yeah.
lakes. I mean, Maine has a lot of stuff for the outdoorsy type. I just think if you want to go, like if you're going to go build a career and find the love of your life, it's probably not going to be in Maine.
When I went to my cousin's wedding in Maine, we were in Booth Bay Harbor,
Yep,
and
that's on the coast.
yeah, and just being out on the ocean, it was great.
Oh yeah, it's very healing.
You want to know
Being
what's annoying me right now? The fact that they sent fucking Vincent out again after he took the Steiner Brothers finish from the
Yeah.
top rope DDT.
I know he's not selling the injuries, is
Come
he?
on. Is there really any need for him in this match?
Wait, when did Stevie Ray join the NWO? He's in the audience. Was that
He's in
98?
the crowd at that point. They did a big angle, I'm going to guess, right around the time Thunder started in early 98, where they said, you're either NWO or you're WWE.
or WCW. This is
Chris,
not a bad
John
match, though.
Cena Sr. said if the winner does not come forth within 24 hours, he will return to see who claims that number. But as of right now, we double checked just to match it up to see if John C. Riley got it right. Yeah, 694-5499 was the winning number. Kevin, where do you live, buddy?
Look at my tickets
Can you
again.
can you check your emails to see who won?
Do you know how many I'm going to have to go through when I do it?
Yeah, but you can
I
just
can,
you,
yeah,
can you
yeah.
search the number?
Oh, yeah. I email everybody once they get them.
No, but I mean, like, if you go to your email and just search, like, go into the search bar and search the number.
I'm not going to do the actual number itself.
Yeah, it's
No, because it's in the context of the email. When I do a search, it'll only come up with the subject line.
Oh, it only comes up with the subject. Next
That's
time,
the BostonWrestling.com email system. I didn't create it.
next time, put it in the subject line.
Geez, thanks, John. Thanks for the ideas after the fact. I'll say this: John C. Riley, Manicus Riley, is a man with many ideas, and he does not have birdseed-sized teeth.
You know, so that doesn't. I'm done with it.
Salute! and
I'm
Merry
done.
Christmas.
I'm done. I tried to play Peacemaker. I'm not gonna get involved.
Next time,
You're
set
doing
up
a
your
good job.
streams with
I think it's all in good- in
webcam.
jest.
Or,
Now,
Yeah.
did you want to make John Cena Sr.'s piece as the peacemaker?
I'm gonna make his piece.
His piece.
I mean, his rug.
That little raccoon. Yeah.
You know, it looked good today. It looked good under the lights. I gotta say,
boy, you know what? When I lose track of how many of the little cups that John C. brings me, you know it's a good time. As Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell have a match
So,
that really sucks.
Phil, any ideas of what you want to watch January 9th? Have you been thinking about it?
No, I have no clue yet,
No
man.
clue?
I'm gonna have to look back. And maybe maybe an ECW. I don't know.
Phil wants to get extreme.
I'm not
Maybe
gonna-
the first.
I'm
maybe
not-
the-
I'm not gonna lie, Dan. I went to the rug store's Christmas party before this, and I had a couple.
You got a couple of beverages.
Yes.
Now, what were they offering at the
I feel
rug
like you're gonna
store?
come in and be like, we're gonna
Christmas
watch
party.
an episode of
You know.
ECW TV from 1996, and it's the May of '96 version.
Beer,
Like, it's just gonna be
hard
some random
cider,
show.
whiskey.
or a few. That was some
Whiskey,
great
yeah.
TV show. Oh,
Did you enjoy the
great
party?
television.
Yeah, I had a good
Maybe the
time.
first historic
even though I left
pay-per-view.
early to
Was
be
there
here.
any fellatio?
No,
No, there's
WCW
none.
Sin from the early 2000s.
Was there anyone you were
That was
interested in
probably a memorable,
fellatio with?
No,
Giant
But,
company. You know.
my boss. This is
I would
a funny
say,
story.
Probably from the late 80s.
My
or,
boss's son,
late 90s.
he's bringing in
maybe.
an extra chair to
Yeah,
the
whatever you
living
want.
room
Yeah.
for the Yankee
I'm
swap.
I'm open to suggestions from you too. You know,
As
Maybe
he's
an
doing
ECW
it, he's
thing.
holding a,
And
A
the people
beer.
I
New
would
Japan,
suggest-
January 4th.
and as
Tokyo
he's
Dome
bringing the
show.
chair in, he
I don't think the viewers.
he
Probably
somehow
not.
I
spills
dig it, but-
almost half of the beer onto his aunt.
On the aunt.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
even do
his
TNA
aunt.
What
My
was the
ones. I
beer
don't know if
in?
there's
A
any
cup?
TNA.
Or
It was
a
in
can?
in a bottle.
I don't know.
And he spilled it all
Plus, I
over
think
his
we try to
arm.
do stuff off
Yes.
Peacock.
Now,
'cause
what
it's
was
like
the
something that
aunt's
most people
reaction?
have at this
Yeah.
point.
She
It's like-
was just
yeah.
dumbfounded.
It could be another
She was in
WCW
shock.
show, you know?
'Cause
Yeah.
Just think of like a couple, like I know we've done recently a lot
I
of
couldn't
Starrcade.
stop
We did
laughing.
we
I
did
was right
SummerSlam
next
for,
to
like, the
this.
first two
How many
SummerSlams.
Yeah.
people were there
We
at
did
this
that.
party, would you say?
I feel like
Probably
a
like
lot of shows
30.
we've done are from the late
Oh,
80s.
there's that many people that work there?
I mean, there was a couple kids. There was like 5 kids.
I like you.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
97, 98, maybe something.
Well,
like
Jack-
88, 99.
Jackie was
Yeah,
telling me
think about
about
it.
the
Whatever you
couple
wanna
that he
do.
had gone
Just-
to at
Whatever
the
you
same
wanna do.
house.
Think
Again,
about it, maybe
fans,
by
the
January
Super
1st,
Chat
be
is
like, all right,
open
this is
for
what we'll do,
business.
or January
If you're
2nd.
enjoying the Starrcade 97 banter,
Pardon
if
me.
I'm sitting right here, she's his aunt is sitting like right here, and I just see him walk through with this chair, and then a stream of beer fall down on this poor woman.
Was it like in slow motion, or
Not quite in slow motion, but
did you feel helpless when you saw this? Couldn't help.
I mean, what could I do?
Did you want her to get wet?
Oh,
A tiny bit.
you
Okay,
wanted
you're
her
on
to
it.
get wet.
By the beverage.
Oh,
I
all
think.
right.
oh wow! Virgil took a bump off the floor.
I wasn't. I couldn't hold in my laughter.
That's okay.
Do you think she was a 3-input woman?
3?
Yeah.
No.
I think those are the coolest women. 3 inputs.
I can't believe this match has gone on this. Oh, what? Even
Wow.
WWE Network.
Like the network apparently had an issue with it too.
They were disgusted with it as
It
I
says, "Are you
was.
guys really watching this match?" Yes,
Peak-
we are.
Peacock app
Some of these
and
matches went a
website
little
suck.
too long, in my opinion.
Luger's got him up for a vertical and barely gets him over. Look at Vincent climbing, scaling the ropes. Like
He shouldn't
like
even
a
be
cat burglar.
involved in this match.
dressed like a cat burglar. Oh,
Well, that
There
to me,
were
that to
about
me is not-
45 members of the NWO as it was. Oh,
Well, the
This is
WWE
maybe it's just because I detest Virgil. I don't like Bagwell. I didn't like Luger then. Billy Silverman used to be Tony Atlas's Virgil.
I think you're giving Bagwell a little too much heat. You can't be
He
disrespecting my
was a
boys in
dick.
front of me.
Didn't he have his mother called Jim Ross?
Oh,
I mean, come on.
that's an unfounded lie.
It's not an unfounded lie. I was there.
You heard the call?
I didn't hear
How would
the
he?
call,
How would she have
but
his
everybody
number?
was talking about it the next day.
Probably because it was a rumor they started.
Why would they make it up?
Why? Because they didn't like Buff.
They
Judy
wanted to
had the-
push him. They put him in the fucking main event of the Tacoma Dome
Yeah. Why did they do Tacoma, not Atlanta?
because that was the week they started. When they were going to start WCW.
Should have done it in
Nitro.
Atlanta. You know,
I mean,
come
when they were
on.
gonna start
They were going to
Raw,
sabotage that
WC
from the beginning. They
What's
didn't give
that
it.
now?
They were going to sabotage that from the beginning.
Let me tell you something. There may have been people that wanted it to be sabotaged, but the company wanted Raw to be WCW
Well, they didn't do a good job of it, and they should have brought
because
it.
it was horrible. If you ever heard the fucking reaction that it got,
Because it was in Tacoma. If they went to Atlanta, it would have started off a lot better.
all right, I'll give you that.
It would have been very simple. Do I think Bagwell was a dick then? Probably was, but it wasn't all on him. That's all I'm going to say. And we were having a passionate argument against it for Buff Bagwell right now.
There's
so-
a difference between something new failing and there being an extreme personality problem.
Well, this was a definite case of something.
Now, the experiment was a complete and utter failure. I'll give you that.
Wow,
And
this
you're
was
right.
flat.
They did pick the wrong town. But he was still him. His mother did not belong in the process whatsoever.
Well,
I
in
will
her
say
defense,
they
she's
never
a
brought.
former champion.
I will say this
She is a former champion.
in your defense, Bagwell was still in the prime of his career, and they still never brought him back after 01. And they could have gave him one more shot, and they never did.
I tell you
So
this.
that was probably a reason.
As far as I know, they wanted to push him to the fucking moon. They didn't
Like
want
world
to get rid of
title,
him.
like put a world strap on him.
I don't know about that, but he was going to be, if he stayed and he didn't turn into him, he was going to get a big push.
Oh, I could see Buff as an IC champ,
Can you see?
Bigger.
bigger than that.
Yes.
So he could have gotten a world title.
I don't know.
Bigger than Elizabeth's eating
Enhancements?
bosoms,
I don't know about that.
running down the aisle.
The things I do with Elizabeth, my
Running down
God,
the
we go
aisle.
shopping and have a good time.
I love this version of Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I think this was probably Liz at her
definitely.
hottest.
Well, yeah.
Virgil, why don't you just? They made Virgil work for his payday this night.
He should. He was overpaid as it was, and he sucked.
So is Virgil a manager?
Virgil is
Kinda.
just a
He
piece.
wrestled sometimes, but he was primarily.
Have you heard
known
of
as a
Virgil's
bodyguard.
fuck money comments?
A manservant,
He
valet.
doesn't write that.
But
It's
no-
just like the Sheik's twin. That's
Well,
rock
but
and
no,
roll.
but he says them promos out loud. He talks
Well,
about
of
that fuck
course.
money.
Well,
yeah.
he tries to put over his gimmick.
I will say this, Dan, and you may never listen to a word I say after
Frank
this.
Berwitz,
I
right?
listen to
Berg-
everything
Bergel.
you
But
say.
please never bring that man into this
No.
chair because it will be the ruining of your career.
Who's that?
Virgil. He will never leave.
I can't.
You'll
I
be-
can't. Wait a minute. Rick Slick Rick B. Phil the Superstar.
Hey, Ninja
Hey,
boy.
Baboon. It's Phil D in the middle. He's one of the mods on the channel.
Just
If you
hanging out.
guys didn't know that, I hope you know. This is Phil DiCesare. Did I say it right?
DeCesare,
DeCesare. Well, that was my second guess.
No, not
Phil
DiBiase.
DiCesare.
DeCesare.
Yes, sir.
I like it. It's like my last name. It takes several tries, but you
Yeah.
get it eventually. DeCesare.
From
All
the
right.
boot also. Like
It's like my
Marty
good friend
from the
Kevin
boot. Yes.
How the fuck do you
Kevin
say
T, right?
Kevin Petriantozzi
Oh, Kevin P,
from the
yes.
Gold Exchange in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right on, man.
So I got to remember
And then our-
Phil DiCesare.
And then our good friend
This-
Teddy
I'll
Papanupalopoulos.
never get that one. That's Greek.
Yeah. The Greeks have like
DeCesare.
20
I can get DeCesare.
syllables as a half Greek.
I
We have
can't
like
say the Greek freak's name, but that's okay.
Yannis Antetokounmpo.
Screaming
See, I'm half
Baboon
Greek,
said
so I
Phil
know
is
some
a
of them,
good
but
bloke.
Thanks. I love Baboon. He's
Baboon's
cool.
Screaming
from down
Baboon.
under.
Yes.
You're so British.
Who?
Screaming Baboon.
oh, Kurt Hennig
Well,
was
that's
U.S.
his name.
champ. I forgot about this.
Screaming Baboon.
I said he's so British.
Well, he's from Australia, but you're close.
I forgot that he was
Australia.
U.S. champion.
He's a skits mate.
I tell you, what nice parents he had.
Yeah, you had some good interactions with them.
Larry was a great guy. His mother was, my gosh, if you ever wanted to create a Mrs. Claus for a movie, what a fantastic lady.
Is she still alive?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you find that so humorous.
No,
that
no,
Irene
no,
Manning is alive.
I'm saying Screaming Baboon agrees with me. Skits,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
Oh, Slamboree.
Kevin, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Slamboree 98.
Did you ever see
From
Virgil's
Worcester.
GoFundMe?
I
He
was in the
wanted people
audience
to
and I
make
got
him a
on camera.
millionaire.
My son.
I'm not
Really?
surprised.
Yeah.
And Virgil
Wow,
probably
did you like
didn't
that show?
set
Was
it
that a
up.
good show?
It was a good
It's
show.
probably
Good
the
show.
same
Tonight,
losers that
Bischoff
do the
called
Iron
Vince
Cheeks
up.
Twitter.
Fight. He says, Vince, I know you're 2 hours down the road. Come up to the pay-per-view.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
By the way, Dan, I've also been storming up ideas on how to do a live call-in.
Yes, John C. Manicus Riley has been working on many things than that worthless 80-pound sack of shit other Manicus was. But John C., go ahead, please.
I mean, it's pretty technical. I
That's
don't know
it. All right.
if you want me to get into it.
Phone call. We're going to do live call-ins in 2022. We got new graphics coming in 2022. What else do we got?
Paige wrestling in jeans.
enhanced
He went
live
through these periods
streams.
of wrestling in jeans. I don't know why he did that.
Foxina Senior, my 2022 resolution is to increase the production value of this channel.
What's wrong with it? Come on, don't be too harsh.
Come
Come on, see, for Christ's sakes.
I'm just playing a bit of the heel.
What's that now?
Playing a
I
bit
said
of a
I'm
heel. Wow.
Playing a bit of the heel.
It's you using the jargon of the business.
No, you're right. You know what? We'd be dumb people to say that there aren't areas for improvement across the board.
Why did DDP wrestle in jeans on and off? Was it because of the ribs gimmick? He just didn't like he was lazy? I wonder what the deal was with that.
I don't know. Because, you'd think that was kind of Raven's gimmick with the shorts, but
Yeah, I never liked it when guys wrestled in jeans and all that.
Maybe he forgot something happened to his gear on a flight.
He had those
You
cool
never know.
velvet tights, though. I like.
can
those velvet
Phil
tights
give
he
me
had.
back my wallet? Oh, Matt, I don't know if he took it.
The answer is no.
When is Marty back? I need to know who else is gay. PK, all I can tell you is the Indiegogo is open for business for Marty. We got great perks, great rewards. If you want season 2 of Party with Marty, I'm going to put the link up right now.
There's a great Simpsons.
If that wouldn't destroy me financially, I would donate the entire sum.
You want Marty back?
Oh yeah.
What's the entire sum? How much is
Was
it?
it 5,000?
No, you fucking. Not that much.
The problem with Marty is every time he comes, he's great for the first day or two, and then after that, it goes to hell.
You know what? And I've noticed that as well.
You
But
gotta
the
bring him in-
problem is we need him for multiple days to be coherent and good.
From young Elvis to old Elvis, just like that.
Yeah.
Because Dan's only gotten to the end of 90. Have you gotten to the Rockers breakup?
No,
Oh,
we're still
wow.
in 91.
Well, because that was at the was that end of 91, the Rockers breakup? Or
I think they taped it then, but it aired in early 92.
Never got to the barber shop.
Because I think Sean
Yeah.
Sean did a house show with Snuka in like early 92.
Yeah.
As a heel. He didn't have Sherry even at that point.
He left Sharon. Yeah.
He's a good old country boy.
You know what?
So one of the best
Yeah.
stories he told me actually was, funny enough for Roger Kurt Hennig, is I asked about Sean's steroid issue in '93 when he got popped for steroids. I said, what was going on with that? Because he looked kind of chunky at that point. He was
Yeah,
chunky
he did.
Sean.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Sean's, Chunky Sean.
Yeah.
And he said what happened was he had a beer, and Kurt Hennig put a Dianabol tablet in the beer when he wasn't looking, and that's how he got popped. And his whole thing was, well, I never took a steroid. I look like shit right now. I'm kind of chunky. And he's like, well, you still. So he was telling the truth that he didn't take a steroid knowingly, but the test did say, hey, because you took a Dianabol tablet. So that's where that came from. And then that's when he went home, and then Razor got his belt, and then Sean came back with his belt.
Oh, yeah.
They did that. So
It was it turned into a good angle, but it was too bad. Michaels was excellent, but was he in great shape at that point? Not by any stretch
he
of the
did come back
imagination.
for that infamous Hart match at Survivor Series '93, and
Oh.
it looked like he lost a few pounds at that point. But I know Sean didn't really lean out until '95, and then '95 he got really lean,
Yeah.
and then '96 he
He
got.
started to get back into great shape when they brought him back full time around summer of '94. Then he started. I don't know. I don't want to say that he started to take it serious, but he knew he was back full time at that point.
Because he was injured for a little bit, so he just make appearances on the shows.
They had a lot of problems with it. As much as Vince was a fan, there were issues with him.
Even back in '93 and '4.
Oh, yeah. But in the fall, it was right around It was August of '94. They brought him back full time, and I remember a fan said to him something along the lines of, a smart fan. Oh, you're back, blah, 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 blah. He goes, oh, they need to bring somebody back because the business was so dead at that point. But you know what? I always liked Shawn Michaels in my interactions with him. Never a dick, never rude. I was never one of his peers that he had to wrestle.
Yeah.
So, I get that. But
I was just going to say, too, I never thought he looked like he was in terrible shape. I just noticed he just gained a little extra weight in 93. Even 94, he didn't look bad.
he wasn't in great shape.
Well, maybe for him, but to the average bloke. 93, you thought he was in that bad a shape?
Yeah. And I think Shawn Michaels is probably the best of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
In ring?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think as far as the creativity, the versatility,
The selling.
it wasn't Ric Flair where it was the same match every time you saw him. He would put together a different match for every opponent.
Better
If
than
you
Kurt
look at his
Hennig?
body of work, huh?
Better than Kurt Hennig in ring?
Kurt Hennig's peak was so short because of the injury.
Yeah.
Did Kurt Hennig ever do anything really remarkable when he came back from that back injury after SummerSlam
Kurt's
'91?
big years were probably 88 to 91 in ring.
I think you're underestimating. Well, you probably haven't seen much of it, but his run in AWA when he was on top was very, very good. Very, very
No, I
good.
haven't seen a lot of that.
His hour draw with, I'm sure Phil's probably seen it with Nick Bockwinkel.
With Bockwinkel. And he when he had a second run.
Give me more.
When he had a second run in WWF in 83-ish, 82.
Well, that was, yeah.
he
I
and
mean,
Playboy-
that's before my time.
He was still an opener, but he and Playboy Buddy Rose had a 4-star match on TV on All Star Wrestling. Incredible. Of course, he and Buddy Rose worked together so much before. And it was incredible for the time. I actually saw, he was on the very first card I ever saw.
All-Star Wrestling out of Portland?
No, out of Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
I feel like at the old Hamburg TVs.
The All-Star was out of Hamburg, I think, and Championship was out of Allentown.
Allentown.
They ran what, like every 3 weeks they ran tapings there?
Yeah.
Just like MSG every 3 weeks. Yep.
I've been to Hamburg, Germany, but never Hamburg,
Oh.
Pennsylvania.
John C's been to Hamburg, Germany. Well, were there any all-star wrestling tapings?
Did you find McFoley's ear over there? I don't know where it was.
Did I ever find what?
Lodges of
Mick
building,
Foley's ear
building,
over there?
crack buildings
No,
and-
I never found Mick Foley's ear when I was in Hamburg, Germany.
He lost part of it. I think it might have been Hamburg. I'm not sure.
I did get
Well, let me
sold.
ask you this, Dan.
I would say Perfect's peak came from wedges. I spit all over the place. His
Tony
peak
Atlas.
came from, I don't have any chicken wings. When he split from Scott Hall in AWA through when he had his quote-unquote retirement at SummerSlam '91.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So 86-ish.
86
yeah.
to 91. Those 5 years,
Yep.
he was one of the best in the business. I don't care what anyone
Would
says.
you take, let
Well,
me ask
there's
you this.
Alex, right? With old Jimmy
I'll
Mitchell.
give you this.
Yeah.
Greg Valentine looking bored.
Ernest the Cat.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Greg wants a little service from Andy.
Sonny
Valentine always.
Sonny Ono
I
had
wonder
some
what Alex
popcorn.
Wright and a Sinister Minister talking about rats, maybe, as Dan would put it?
Probably. I hope, Charlie, you're going to be able to make the trip to Dallas when we go in April. If we wind up doing the Russell House, I think you would have enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun last year.
Well,
For that
Sorry.
worthless sack of shit, Manicus,
Oh,
not you,
gosh.
John C. Manicus Riley, but
and with that
Fred C.
said, I'm going to take a
Manicus.
little bathroom break. I will be right back. We'll talk about Manicus. Manicus has proposed a.
God, you know what? I like Manicus, but my lord,
Make sure you de-mic.
he's got balls the size of those little Cadbury Christmas eggs they sell.
Those are pretty big.
What? No. Those are the ones they sell at Easter, the bigger
the
ones.
Easter ones.
The Cadbury ones they sell at Christmas.
Okay,
They're
I was
about the
gonna-
size of a dime.
I was gonna say, what is your metric for
Ball
ball
in.
size?
Do you know the way, Charlie?
You know the way to San Jose?
With your special boots that the people commented on. They are. Look at John C. sneaking
Hey
in
now.
for the spot. I love it. DDP doing the same to Mr. Perfect. Well, Kurt Hennig in WCW.
Yeah, what was his handle in WCW? They played
Just
off the
Kurt
perfect
Hennig.
thing. He was just Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
I think they tried to play off a few times off.
You're right. The jeans do look awful in the ring.
This is the first time I've worn jeans in months or long pants for that matter.
This is the
Well,
first
you
time
know
I've
what? We
worn.
want you to be comfortable, Phil.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
worn
Phil
khakis in a while.
DeCesare.
the Cesare. Or you can go. Why don't we do the
Cesare.
Italian? Why don't we do the Italian? Just say De Cesare. How about
The
that?
Cesare.
There you go.
We got a fila di Cesare here at MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. A zipper code champion 021706. The age. Speaking of the aging, let's see.
Uh-oh.
My friend spent 5 months in Italy.
Posted. Really?
Yeah.
Recently.
I think 2018.
Oh, that's awesome. Blocking the diamond cutter. Ah, the old rope, the old put on the rope leverage trick.
I don't remember what the finish of this match was, but I think it would have hurt DDP an awful lot to job to perfect.
Yeah.
Or Henning.
Mark Madden used to refer to him as DD Me. For some reason, I remember that. I think there might have been some heat there. I don't know.
If that was the case, if he used that name, I'm going to guess yes.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, I want to ask you, now that I'm on camera, what do you think of my hair tonight?
Not as wild.
Yeah.
Did you comb it a different way, or
I used product.
well, now what kind of product?
Not the something like, what was that? Oh, never
It's
mind.
by Shea Organics, I believe is the brand name.
Did you go and visit my good friends at Noel's Salon on Green
No,
Street?
I did not.
Well, maybe you should.
Maybe
they'd manicus the manicus.
maybe they could teach me how to take care of it, how to
Well,
tame the mane.
I'm not trying to make. Hopefully, this doesn't come across as an insult, but I think it looks pretty good compared to
No,
usual.
no, I won't argue with you that much.
Usually, it's like a wild bush from the '70s, but now it's a little more tame. You know what I mean?
More
No,
crocheting
yeah,
and
I
less
will not
art
argue
Garfunkel.
that. What does the audience think?
Guys, what do you think of John C's do right now?
Is it a do or do not?
It's Starrcade '97, the biggest event of the year.
Nailed the
Wait a
diamond
minute, John the
cutter.
Barber, what the fuck? The guy's here. This is about as exciting as the animal commercials. Looking for donations. Don, I got to ask you, Don, brother,
DDP wins the strap.
what would you do with John C's hair at the barber shop?
Time for professional opinion.
We need a professional's opinion, yes.
I don't plan on cutting it. I don't know if we keep the super chats up. I may keep it forever.
Could you be
Don
bribed
just
in-
laughed. He
bribed
said,
in-
LOL. There's not, John the Barber, there is nothing you can do with John C's hair
How
other
about-
than say LOL.
How
My-
about if we raise the funds for Marty,
We'll
then you
have to
shave
work
your,
on
then you
that
have to shave, Marty will shave your hair.
You know what? If there's ever any charity thing you wanted to do, I would sell a lock of my hair. I know you've mentioned it before.
Screaming Baboon says, Krusty the Clown and Andy's Love Child's hair looks awesome.
Okay, Krusty, no. But Sideshow Bob, maybe.
There you go.
How much would it cost to shave his head bald on the show?
Shave my head bald?
Don the Barber says $100 to shave it. There's that much.
Bald? $100? No.
Matt Schmidt says John C. fears Barry Horowitz.
I'll shave
why.
my head too.
Danny Jimenez, his hair looks like a young Berserker's hair in the early 90s.
You know what? I
True.
respect the Berserker,
That's-
so you
Mr.
know.
Wonderful says looks like Garfunkel.
Yeah, Art Garfunkel.
I get that. I got that a lot for a while, but I haven't gotten that lately.
This is a very hefty Mark Madden with Eddie Guerrero, and I don't know who that
Wow.
is.
Back
Looks
in
like-
the day.
Look at the
huh?
size of the laptop. WCWWrestling.com. You know what? I wonder what that goes to right now. Let's take a look. WCWWrestling.com.
Wow, look at Mark Madden back then.
Hefty.
Hefty
Either,
cinch
I
there.
say either.
Before you continue below, you'll have to go through a standard security check. Well, you know what? I think we'll skip that one.
Actually, remember
Don't
Michael
go to
Hutchins from NXS.
WCWWrestling.com.
That's kind of that hairstyle back then.
Is that the
Kind
one
of
who hanged himself?
Yes, if you must bring that in.
Who?
It was an accidental. It was.
Yeah,
we were
he
talking about
was-
Michael Hutchins.
He
from
was
NXS.
pleasuring himself. Well,
Yes. Well,
I have no idea
choking
what you're
himself.
talking about.
Well, It's a good thing, especially if the children are home watching. We don't want to go down that road.
If they're up at 9:53 watching the Starrcade watch along, I question their parents. And here is Bret the Hitman Hart, the hottest wrestler in professional wrestling, some 6 or so weeks after the Survivor Series Montreal screw job,
Yeah,
putting a complete and utter waste of his capacity.
yeah,
One man's opinion.
yeah.
Unbelievable how they did so little. Looks like David Carradine. No?
Yeah. Yes, Grasshopper.
That's another person who died the same way as the lead.
Isn't that funny? Wow, two references. I hope this is.
And they all had hair like you, John C.
I don't think David Carradine had hair like me. I think they were comparing lead singer.
Modes of demise, perhaps.
Yes, yeah.
I just remember how John C.'s hair was when he was an intern here at the
How
studio.
was it?
It was
It
shorter.
wasn't anywhere near what it was now. It was,
Was it
much
wild and
tamer.
unkempt?
No,
Yeah.
no.
I can't
There
remember
was
the last.
grooming at that point.
I see.
I can't remember the last time I cut my hair, but I don't think it was.
It's been a while. Let me tell you.
It was not long after my internship. Through.
Oscar is calling. I mean, Oscar, brother, if you're watching, unless someone is dying, we're in the middle of something. And I say that with love and respect. As we get ready for Easy E, Bischoff's in pretty good shape.
He's a
Look at
karate
that.
man.
Well,
Karate man
you
bruised
could
on
be
the
a karate
inside.
man and not be in great shape. Good for him. I didn't remember him being in such good shape here. And again, you send out Scott Hall. Why have him in that worthless segment earlier in the show that anybody in the NWO could have filled? No pun intended, Phil.
Thank you.
I
Remember what Scott Hall first said to Eric Bischoff when he appeared? He said, "Hey yo, Ken doll."
Well, I've always liked the Eric Bischoff character. John C., you got to move now. He passes the baton to CW. This is the semi-main. Bret Hart is the guest referee. As Eric Bischoff takes on Larry Zbyszko.
Larry Land.
I was never a Larry Zbyszko guy.
I love him as a personality.
Really?
I think he's a great personality.
Him and I, funny enough, Phil, that you mentioned it earlier,
Yeah.
him and I had a conversation about Reiki once.
Oh, Larry Zbyszko and you?
Yes. The weekend of WrestleMania 20 in New York.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice guy. I
Yeah.
was never a fan of the persona, I guess.
Sure.
Why is that?
Maybe he was too good of a heel. I don't know. I just wasn't my cup of, not my type of heel.
Yeah.
He hadn't aged much, that's for sure. He always looked old.
Larry Land. He, of course, is one of his. He pulled a Triple H
Look at this
early
fucking
on.
guy.
He married Vern Gagne's
Aganya,
daughter.
yeah.
He's still married to her?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know either. I know he lives down in sunny Orlando, Florida.
Dolphin, I'm sure, all the time.
Got a little, I think of the touch of the Alzheimer's,
It's
which
awful.
is too bad. Yeah, sure is.
I was
We
gonna say,
wish Larry well.
Zbyszko is known for a guy who could just kind of, just seemingly, just very easily, just kind of guide people through matches. He took a very green Scott Hall, guided him through a great match. I heard he was a guy who was great at stalling. He could get the most out of the least.
No, absolutely.
I'm going to guess that
And Bischoff was in good shape. Look at Bischoff.
I'm
He
going
was
to
in
guess
pretty good shape.
the Zbyszko
Look at-
matrimony didn't end well.
Look at Bischoff. He's in great shape.
Zabisco's wife photocopied hundreds of pictures
I heard that.
of
Him
his
naked
junk
on the couch. I
and
think
pasted
was.
it on windshields,
I heard that.
walkers, and everywhere. I'm going to
What?
guess if she did that, it was not in the most complimentary of fashion. I could be wrong.
Might have been a cold day too.
Dan has COVID.
And
No,
hey,
he does
great
not.
hair on Bischoff.
Don't say
right?
that, Matthew.
What's that?
Great hair on Bischoff, right?
Yeah.
Great hair. Looked like a Ken doll.
His
That's
run
what he
in
said. That's what I
WWE
just
was
said,
so
Kendall.
underrated, it isn't even funny. He was so good when he did that, had that run in WWE.
Great
Who's that?
personality.
Is he-
Bischoff, yeah.
Great personality.
Remember, he brought us, and we won't say it, but we'll give you the acronym HLA.
Hot Lesbian
Action.
Yes.
Which
One of
now you can go-
Charlie's favorites.
Yeah, it is. It's a. It was okay.
Can you believe this is the semi
Such a
on their
different
second
time.
biggest on their biggest show of the year?
Wait, are you saying this is the second match from the bottom from the main event?
Yeah.
That's not the semi. You said. You said the semi-main event is the match that's heavily promoted at second.
Well, this was.
I still think the semi-main event is the match that goes second to last.
I don't, but I think I'm pretty sure this is second to last. I just can't believe that. I mean, I guess it was cool to see Bischoff in the ring for the first time.
Funny enough, he'd be on the next
And
show.
Brett is ref.
He was on the next show, Starrcade '98.
And this has to be
Yes,
Brett's
he was. You're
first
right.
appearance.
What's that now?
This has to be Brett's first WCW pay-per-view appearance.
Yeah, I would not have brought.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would not have brought Bret like this. He would not have appeared in this fashion. He would have done something else, and I would not have had him in
It
strange.
just showed the lack of logic in this company that they have Bret Hart as the referee.
Was this a
So
Sullivan?
Larry Zbyszko.
Was
Yeah.
this a Sullivan directive?
No. Kevin's job was Bischoff was the big picture guy, and Kevin had to try and make sense out of nonsense a lot of the time.
Let me ask this: who has a better mind for wrestling, Bischoff or Tony Khan?
Bischoff, because he's done it longer.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's probably
Because I
too
know
early to
Khan is
tell.
a big fan, but sometimes I think Khan's booking is suspect.
Yeah, and to be fair to Tony Khan, he's new to the business. He's still learning.
That's why I
Should
wish
he have someone with him
Yeah, that's why
that
I
has
wish
more
he-
experience?
Yeah.
I'm not there week to week. I don't know the structure,
Yeah.
but from what I do know of it, I would say yes.
Well, let me ask the fans out there: would you love to see Dan Marati and AEW working on the creative side of things,
Well,
or on the promotional side of things?
I'm very happy that our president, Dr. David Reese, is with AEW. I think he's going to do a great job
Mhm.
helping the talent with whatever
Boy.
mental health issues
Yeah.
may come to be. I think it's needed in every promotion in the industry.
Yeah.
I've heard of AEW though; they're kind of getting rid of some of their. I shouldn't say getting rid of, but they're starting to kind of feature less of their indier talent at this point. They're starting to
Well,
kind of go a little.
You
bit
know
more.
what the good thing is, in Tony Khan's credit, the longer he's around, the more experience he's going to have. He's going to realize what works, what doesn't work, what he wants to feature on his product, what he doesn't want to feature on his product. I'm sure TBS, where they're paying, or TNT, it's going to be TBS in January.
Yeah.
They're going to have a say in what they want on their TV channel and what they don't want on their TV channel. That's one thing I've never understood about WWE fans that complain. They'll bitch and moan at WWE on Twitter, but at the end of the day, USA Network and Fox are the ones that are writing the checks. Complain to them. One man's opinion.
I get that.
Look at Larry Land going to town on Bischoff. Good gimmick match. I just don't think it belongs second from the top
Larry
on
didn't
their
look bad in
biggest
the-
show of the year.
Larry didn't look bad in the trunks, by the way. He only looked like he gained maybe 10 pounds from his last appearance in wrestling. Because he always had that build, that stocky old school guy build.
I don't remember him working.
When did he
I
retire?
remember in
93?
'94, I think he worked Antonio Inoki on one of the pay-per-views.
He was wrestling as part of the Dangerous Alliance in 92 and
Yeah.
93,
Yeah.
I think.
If he worked in 95 or 96, it was extremely sporadic.
Yeah.
How long did you wrestle from? Like 70,
Oh my God, he was one of Bruno's proteges
Yeah,
in
he
the
was.
70s.
Yeah.
74, was it they started?
On around there
Yeah.
as tag team champ. Yeah, he's had a few runs with the tag straps and was a face for a long time. Yeah.
I think he would have made a great manager. I was never a fan of his work.
Yeah.
I think him and Arn Anderson's the Enforcers. That was a pretty good tag
I think that was on, but that's one man's opinion.
Does he go? What does he go? Oh,
Matthew, we don't need a
Standing in
comment.
the
Come,
back.
bro, Matthew, I know you're a funny guy and you're a jokester.
What did
but come
Matthew
on.
say?
Dan is black.
I don't think you are, but maybe on the inside.
I'm not offended. I just don't see the need for the comment.
He has a black hole in the inside for a heart, but that's a different story.
If you only knew.
Yeah, if I only knew.
Johnny B. Bad slipped into that half and half gimmick too easily. Well,
That sweet and splendor.
if you were going home to Rena Mero, let me tell you something. That is in person. Oh, Jesus, Bischoff, take the fucking post. Maybe the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in person.
Really?
In 2004, at least. Yeah.
Seems overrated to me, but okay, I'll take your word for it.
I'm talking about the non-made up for television version.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dear Lord.
Where do we meet her? At an Applebee's somewhere in Worcester before the show. I'm going to show you a
better
picture.
in an
I'm gonna
Applebee's.
show
I
you a
love
picture.
Bill's book is going to start one night at Applebee's. I was
What is
talking
this, like
to
the start-
Serena.
Chapter
and
of
Brock too, and I'll
the
show you
chapter
picture.
of a book. One night at Applebee's.
What year was this?
You want to see a picture? 2003 or 4? late 2003, early 2004.
Really? Before he left?
Yes. In fact, I have a picture on my phone. I'll show you after of me sitting in the booth like this with Brock. Brock looking at the camera like.
I don't want to take the picture.
Was he being
I
sarcastic?
was a bigger dude. You'd be like, "Wow, that's you." I'm going to dig up the
I wanna see
picture and
this
show
picture.
you in a minute. Yes, indeed.
John C., brother. You know what I need? Salute. As long as you can stand. Oh, I don't want Mrs. C to get upset. You know what? I forgot to tell you. Cecil the Lion said hello to me the other day.
Cecil the Lion.
You know,
He dyed his hair. I think it's jet black.
Wow. Did you have
I've
hair
recently
back then,
heard
or
that
was it really
he's
short?
slicked back in
he's
a
not going to be
ponytail.
working
Oh,
at
That's all greased
Shaw's
back
for
in a
much
ponytail
longer.
Where's he going?
Across.
I've heard he has a job at
Yeah, you
JJ
could tell Brock was
Grimsby's.
a little like, what do I do?
He let the Italian
big
place
kid,
down the
too.
street. I think it's called.
You're not much
Giacomo's.
smaller than Brock here.
Yeah.
If anything, you
know
look
how
bigger
long
than
he
Brock.
lasted there as a
Were you
family
bigger than
friend?
Brock?
How long?
Take a guess.
No, it's a bit
2
of it is
weeks.
in an angle. He's wearing black and white. But I was probably 30
Day.
40 pounds heavier. I was a big
Cleaning
cat.
What
the
made you lose the
table,
weight?
cleaning
What made
plates
you-
off
what
of
made
the
you say it's
tables.
time to get smaller?
Not even serving.
I don't know. I could just as well bulk up again, more running and stuff. You don't want to be, 250 or 260 or whatever.
Poor Cecil.
Do you feel better now that you're at a lighter weight?
Were you talking to me? Oh,
Cecil the
See
Lion.
that all right?
Billy, you look like you were on the gas.
So how
brother.
old
This
were you
was
back then?
03?
I'm a big
How old were you
cat.
back then? Like 25?
Yeah.
Wow, you're as big as him.
I know, huh?
Jeez, I wish the
So,
fans
man,
would see
that's-
that.
Get the hair slicked back in the
Yeah.
ponytail.
May I ask how old you are now?
I am 110.
Oh, God.
May you ask? You were very polite about
Well,
that.
as you know,
I'm gonna guess.
or as you know, or you may not know, I've done some acting, right? And in fact, I was
No,
on
I did
set
not
a few
know
weeks
that.
ago. Well,
You were telling me about that, yeah.
exactly.
What have you acted
Now, what
in?
I don't know if you have legally binding contracts where you can't discuss it. But
Right.
what were you on the set of? Can you say?
Yeah, it was a biopic for Whitney Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it the
And
Now,
one?
did Whitney sing "Bring Me a Higher Love" to you?
She was not on set. Stanley
Oh.
Tucci sang to it. No, he did speak.
What
to
year
it,
was
You
so-
were Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Really?
What year was
Now,
this?
where was
Yeah,
this?
this is 2
In
weeks ago.
Boston?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was it in Boston?
Yeah, and this is why I didn't come to the last Sunday night. I had it early.
Thank you,
call.
John
I was
C.
going to come
Salute.
to that watch along a few weeks ago.
Please, salute.
Salute.
To all of you. Di Cesare.
The Cesare, I will say. I
What,
love it.
what is it
Di
again?
Cesaro.
It's Morella.
No,
Santino Morella.
what is it? What is it again?
The Cesare.
The Cesare. The Cesare. The Cesare.
It's like the Treasury.
The Cesare, like the Treasury. The Cesare. All right.
The,
Maybe that's something I
the
have to
Cesare
remember.
Treasury. That could be a new gimmick stable in Boston wrestling. The Cesare Treasury.
I think, you know what? I think I know what, and I spoke to John Cena Sr. about it. I think I know what we need Bill for in Boston wrestling.
What's that?
I don't know if I should say.
Keep it
What's that now?
when we go off the air, maybe.
Maybe.
Listen, Phil is a very virile 40-year-old man who knows what to do in the
He's a
wrestling.
year
But I
younger
didn't
than
say,
me.
I didn't say viral. He might be embellishing a bit. Oh, Scott Hall going to the.
Scott Hall. Oh, wait a minute. He's patting the boot.
I love it with
He's
a
patting
big
the
metal
Good
piece.
heel move. I like that. I just wish he wasn't out with that segment with the Giant earlier. It was just like with Vincent. There was no.
Oh, and Fluid and Barber is like, Jesus Christ, guys.
I don't think that.
What is Bret to do?
I don't think that connected.
Big Johnny, I think my muffler fell out. Oh my lord!
I think
Was
whatever
that planned? That had to be planned on the spot.
It looked like a package of cold medicine that was put in Bischoff's boot that flew into the fifth row. Zabisco sold it
You
like
know,
he got
Brett
hit by a
wasn't too fond of
shotgun.
Bischoff at this point already, and you know he hated Scott Hall, so it's like he's really kind of.
Oh, was that funny?
Wow.
When I was a kid, my grandparents moved to Saskatchewan. Oh, well, Happy birthday, Santa Claus. Is it Santa Claus's birthday?
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. See a little rematch here from Royal Rumble 1993.
I like that match a lot, actually. That was a good match.
Yeah, they worked well together.
Five
They
moves of
worked
doom
at,
coming, baby.
King of the Ring 93, I think they worked together too in a
It's
tournament.
amazing how
match.
over Bret was at certain points.
He was the hottest wrestler in the planet at this point.
Well, but next to Austin, but yeah.
No, I'd say at this point,
Hotter
because
than
of
Austin?
Montreal, he was more over than Austin. Not for a long period of time, but for this period of time, there was so much more interest in what this man was doing, where people were so confused by what happened. Oh my God. What a waste to have him in this. Screaming Baboon has never watched AEW.
It's good. I like it. I look forward to Wednesday nights. I don't watch the Friday program too much. So it's a little late.
You know what? At least the thing I like about it is that sometimes there's a lot of good, sometimes there's some, but
Yeah.
at least it feels like I'm watching something different
It's
as
fre-
opposed
it's
to the
fresh.
same
Yep.
shit every week on the 3 WWE shows.
Yeah.
I can't take it. I have never been so uninterested in wrestling. It isn't even funny.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I enjoyed John Nord being upset that he forgot his Frosty so much. Marty in a three-way with Annie the Ass Eater and Piggott. Well, I guess that's on Marty, not me. Phil should work on an Eric Clapton film.
There you go.
All right. Is Pockets your fave? I'm going to guess
Orange
you mean
Cassidy.
Orange. I detest that.
Oh, Pockets.
I like
Don
that's Jim Cornette
Don the
fan.
Barber super chatted with Jungle Boy.
John the Baba.
Yeah, you being Jungle Boy, no? Or
Love you, brother.
People keep
Merry
saying that. I have
Christmas to all the.
no
I don't want to give
fucking
out your
clue
real
who
name. To
Jungle
all the
Boy
Bob-
is.
Jungle Boy, I think
Family
you're smaller
out
than
there,
Jungle
all
Boy,
the
but
fellow
you got
Bobbers.
the same hair.
He's
He's
a family
actually he has a
member.
little bit better
You're part
hair.
of our family, and that's what counts. Thank you, Dawn. We appreciate you, and we're glad you're here. Whether you're here just to chat or you make a kind donation like that, it helps the cause. And there we go, the replay of Scott Hall putting the Sudafed in every Bischoff's feet. I hope they don't show the replay where it goes into the crowd. And there is the reason why this company went out of business.
Nice sell job for Bischoff.
mm-hmm. Lights out.
I do have to say, I do love how I think that had to be planned. That had to be planned with the cold medicine, as you put it, Dan, coming out of the foot pad.
Oh, you're right about that, Danny. Yeah, WCW was kicking ass through April of '98, so another 4 months. But you knew the decline was coming. It was
Well, they
getting
were
bad.
still doing good business up until mid '99. After that,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it was
just because they weren't winning the ratings war
Yeah.
doesn't mean they weren't doing great
good.
business.
Yeah, they were doing well up until, but it's crazy. Beginning of '99, they were hot. 2 years later, they were goddamn pretty much going out of business. It's amazing the fall they had. ECW got to a point, but they never really passed a certain point.
ECW's problem was by the time they had a chance to really showcase themselves, they had been purged of all their elite talent.
Well,
for
they're
the most
budgeting too. They had no. If they made $100,000 off the show, they owed $150,000.
What's that now?
But they had no budgeting. They were owing money. You know, they were more of a brand thing than the names, anyway, in my opinion.
Yep. I'll agree with that.
Which was good and bad. Because nowadays it's the brand. It's about, hey, let's go see WWE, not like, hey, let's go see the Stone Cold or the Rock.
Right.
Oh, Screaming Baboon. Steve Austin was doing business like you couldn't believe for his merchandise in '97 when they were still getting their ass handed to them as far as the ratings go. Don the Barber, I thought there was great potential in Jindrak
Yeah.
from the names you mentioned.
O'Hare, Jindrak, Palumbo. What was the other guy's name?
There was
Jack
Palumbo,
Sanders?
Chuck Palumbo,
Him.
Sean Stasiak, Sean
Stasiak.
O'Hare,
Stasiak.
Reno, not to be confused with Reno Chastain.
Yeah.
We don't want to get Quincy upset.
You don't talk about him.
We
He's a
don't.
demon.
Also, we don't talk about Patera Rastani, which I think.
No, definitely.
Which I'm
We
gonna
don't
decide
mention
if I go into
Patera
porno,
Rastani.
if I decide to do porn, I'm gonna use that name, Patera Rastani, in honor of Quincy Rastani.
Well, back on November the 13th, Mickey Lee Chastain worked. The veteran of Cleveland, Tennessee.
By the way, how was your ride with Quincy that night, Phil?
I missed that.
It was deeply profound. It was wonderful. It was,
At least it was short.
short and sweet. No, it was wonderful.
I don't.
He's a spiritual cat, believe it
You
or
help
not.
bring-
He
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
You helped bring cheer to his heart.
Do you know what he did?
And
he came to
and
this.
he to me as well. You know.
He was here at the
Good.
studio talking to Dan and I, and he was shaking my hand. He goes, "This is what he does. He grabs my hand and goes, I was told I would get a ride to the building."
I got the same thing too.
He's
I
a
got you.
hustler.
He is.
Phil, I don't know if you know this, but I knew Quincy before I knew Dan
How did you know?
from Shaw's.
Oh, okay.
You were with him, of
And
course.
this
Well,
man,
but I knew him first
and I'm sorry,
because he's the more memorable. No offense.
Well, yes, out of the two of us,
I
I'd
love
like
that
to think
t-shirt.
Quincy's more memorable.
And by the way, not looking like a thin walrus at WrestleMania 9, the much improved Hulk Hogan looked great this
A little
time.
more gas, yeah.
He's
Yep.
playing the belt though. He's
Yeah.
playing the belt.
But no, but WCW Hogan looked great. 96, 97, 98 Hogan looked really good.
Yeah. He was still an incredible shrinking man in 94.
Yeah.
Would you think he would have blown right back up with the because they weren't drug testing in
Did
94?
you see how fucking big he got with WWE when he went back in 2002?
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Was he,
Huge.
Who was he?
Huge.
The page? What was that? Mr. America. What was his name? Under the mask.
Mr.
Is it Mr. America?
But I would
Under the
actually
mask.
It
argue.
was
Did he
something
arm wrestle
America.
Vince, I think. Yeah,
No,
he
I
was-
think Mr. America is a movie by Tim Heidecker.
Well,
would-
we're talking about
I would
WWE
actually
in
argue,
May
though,
of
that this
2002.
right here might have been one of his all-time best shapes. Because he was lean and he was ripped, but he had some size. He looked really good here.
As Scott Hall said, Hulkster, big as a house, 5 bedrooms. You know, he was at one
And he
point.
really, the funny thing is, he really wasn't that old. He's about as old as AJ Styles
Right.
and Bobby Lashley and those types are right now.
Yeah.
Now, there's been comments saying that Sting didn't look like he had been working out or he wasn't tanning or whatever, but his character was a brooding mess.
I don't think he needed to
No,
tan.
he looked fine.
Mike Burke, I agree with you, brother. Death to all of Dan's enemies. Get rid of them, please.
Please don't
Jeez,
say
Death.
that.
I'm not going to do anything.
Oh, gosh.
I promise. Scout's honor on the kids' lives. I'm not going to kill anyone.
Oh, this
No,
is
it's just your hitman.
But death to them, please. Get rid of them. There's too many.
all infidels.
Yeah, the man with the cross on his neck talks about death.
Wasn't there that phrase, an eye for an eye, or whatever?
That's
It
not
wasn't big.
Jesus, though.
What's
Yeah.
that?
That's not even a
Yeah,
disciple.
no,
He's a
Dan,
little more
no
Old
offense. You're
Testament.
kind of
He's a
like the
little
worst
Old
Christian of all time.
Who, me?
Yeah, you're a bad Christian. Turn the other cheek does not apply to
I
Marty.
just wish the people that I hate would just go away.
You wanted him
because
to
I know-
die.
Okay, go away is
There's a
different
lot
than,
of goodwill
than
in my
die.
heart. I have a lot of goodwill I want to put into the world. I'm just tired of dealing with assholes. You know what I mean?
I just think that
The
you're
world is populated with some.
I just think that you're very I don't know, you're a funny man. I'm just surprised
You know
haven't
what?
called
All
someone
of
a cunt at the
Dan's
satellite
enemies,
office yet.
all of Dan's
I'm surprised,
enemies.
what?
I wish they get help this
I'm
year.
surprised you haven't gone to the satellite office and called someone a cunt because I feel like you'd be banned from that.
See, the thing is, you've got to be able to differentiate Dan Marati and just Dan.
What's the difference?
Dan is just,
honestly,
Dan
not that
just likes
much.
to be left alone. Dan doesn't bother anybody. Dan just likes to do his thing. He likes to be good to people. He likes to help causes. He likes to help things. He just doesn't want to be fucked with. Then when they start fucking with him is when they get Dan Marati, who is like his bodyguard almost. It's almost like split personality.
He's the heavy. He's your heavy.
Dan versus
He's
Dan
my
with
epic.
the cane.
He's the heel.
He will fucking say, you know what? Leave me the fuck alone. And if you don't, you're in for some business,
I
baby.
just gotta say, what a great
And as you
visual.
know, a few of my enemies, Mr. Wilson,
Yep.
if they fuck with me to a certain point, they will get that wrath where the fucking fire comes out of my nostrils.
Well, this is.
I mean no one any harm.
I just want to say the aesthetic that Sting has right now. He looked
All
great.
right.
He looked
Great segue.
No, I mean he looks. Speaking of enemies, same point at Hogan. He looked great. I mean, just the character, the design, it looks phenomenal. And
I would argue that they did a better job with Sting from these 16 months
Yeah.
than they even did with Goldberg. Because Goldberg didn't last as long.
Who had a better build in 96, 97, Austin or Sting?
Would a better what?
Build.
Physique or you mean build?
Build.
up?
Oh, yeah. I
As
think,
far as the booking,
yeah.
I'd have to say Austin just because he was active,
Okay.
you know. But I mean, if they continued this portrayal of Sting, they would have made a lot more money with him.
How would you have done
When
the
they
finish,
turned
guys?
him
Let me
back
see
into-
how you guys. How would you have finished it? And how would you have booked it from this point on?
I wouldn't have changed this. I would have kept him. This would have been his gimmick. No talking, no
Right.
bullshit, ass kicking.
But no, how would you
When
finish
they
this
turned
match?
him into Surface Sting
Yeah.
verbally with the white and black makeup,
Yeah.
you know, oh, during the NWO Red and Black, whatever the Wolf Pack, whatever they were called, that's what killed him.
He could have had a better catchphrase than "It's showtime, folks." Remember? It's
Yeah.
showtime, folks.
I wouldn't have had him talk. I don't know what you think, Phil,
Yeah.
but
No, I think there's a lot of power in the silence.
Well,
Sure
I would have.
is.
Well,
Yeah.
how would you guys have booked the ending of this match? Would you have a clean finish with Sting going over Hogan? Yeah.
1, 2, 3, or Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's all his. Yeah.
The bullshit
would've-
that this
And I'm not
turned
even
into
saying
with
that
Nick
you would have put the
Patrick.
belt on him for a year, but you would have kept it on him for a little bit. A little bit. 3-4 months maybe at least.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm big. When you put the title on someone, you put it on, unless it's someone that is a transition
Yeah.
champion like you used to see in WWF
Yeah.
or WWF. It's someone that gets a long run. And I would have given him a long run because they built this matchup from September of 96 through now.
Yeah. I mean, but then how would you have booked Goldberg from this point on? Because Goldberg beats Hogan like in June.
July.
July. But who says you have to give the Goldberg the title right away?
Well, you could have. Well, he was so
still
hot.
green. What's
Yeah.
that?
Well, you could. He was so hot at the time. I would have waited another 6 or so months for the Goldberg push. You know, maybe you would have Sting hold it for a long time, drop it to Hogan for Hogan to turn around and drop it to Goldberg, and you could do something like that.
Yeah.
Nash, I think Nash put Nash in there. Nash would have gotten over as a world champion. I think he was world champion for Vince for a year.
It was the worst Raw champion.
Well, that wasn't
They
all on
had
his
at the
fault.
same time,
that
too.
was some pretty shitty booking he had to do as well.
Well, you know
Nobody
what?
was drawn
I
at
think
that
that's half the problem. But at the same time, if you're good enough, the people will want to see you.
Well,
And they
that
had
would-
zero interest in seeing Kevin Nash.
I think Nash had to be handled right. That's all I'm going to say on that. And they didn't handle
I
him
think the problem with Kevin Nash is I use him often as a great analogy. When they gave him the belt, they changed his theme song.
Yeah.
They changed his personality. He became let me tell jokes. He became Mr. Personality,
Yeah.
as opposed to, okay, I'm going to kick the fuck out of you,
Giant
Diesel.
killer. Yeah.
I'm going to come out with my,
Oh no, I would have first match out. They have against Bret. I would have had a murder Bret.
That was the guy that was over, that they put the belt on. And then they gave them a watered down version that they thought was going to be more appealing to a wider audience that no one wanted to see. So that, I think, was the problem with the booking of Nash as Diesel as champion.
Yeah.
Ben, let me ask you this: What do you think?
Please, Manicus.
What do you think are the ideal qualities of a wrestler?
So he's got.
It's
Wow.
like asking me, what's the ideal qualities of a woman I want to go out with? That could change depending on the weekend. You got to be a little more specific, John C.
I can give you. I'll give you. I'll give you a few.
Are you saying
I
like depending
hope
on
they
the?
wouldn't have
I'll give you a few.
seed-sized teeth.
Look, they've got to be able to talk. They've got to be
Subtle
able to look like an athlete. They've got to be able to have fluid work in the ring, and they've got to have something about them that makes people want to either be with them or
Yeah.
be them.
They've got to connect with the people.
And that's almost impossible to put into one person.
But if they
He's
have
right.
that, that's
He's
a special person.
110% right.
Some people have 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4 or 3 out of the 4. But if you have all 4, that's a special.
Are you saying-
meaning.
If you
Are you
have
saying-
3 out of 4, that's someone you push the ever-living F out of.
So you're both saying size has nothing to do with it.
It helps a
No,
lot.
it helps a lot. Yeah, just like,
It depends.
I guess
You know,
wanna
like Johnny
be
Gargano's size,
oh,
or
please.
a muscular 6 foot
you know,
tall.
if it was someone
person.
like my size, I think that works. Even though I'm getting smaller because I'm getting quote unquote off the gas. What? It's 92 in my head.
creatine.
You're getting tested. You know, I got.
all right, we got to get you tested down here.
You take creatine.
I've taken some supplements.
But wait a minute. But just a minute now.
Yeah.
What kind of supplements?
I'm definitely
Creatine.
not getting them at the satellite office. Actually, no. I've gotten to the satellite office with you on occasion. It kind of depends on how hungry I am at the time and if I have anything at the house. And
Yeah, good enough point.
and how bad I feel and how bad I want to be.
You're as bad as they come.
Yep, nasty as I can be. I'm a nasty boy.
No, fans, I hope you have a chance to check out some of the episodes we have this week. I think our new Christmas Eve episode with John Cena Sr. is a lot of fun, interest,
I like
real
your
life
sweater.
as opposed to wrestling talk.
A little international.
I don't know what Phil thought, but nice drop kick from Sting.
Yeah.
Sting was a pretty good athlete.
Sting had some springs, and
But he
still
did.
had,
He did
you know,
lose some size. Funny enough, from the time he became the surfer, he left the surfer gimmick to now. He definitely lost some size.
I would have liked to have seen him have a chance with Vince at his peak and see what Vince could have done with him, or what Vince would have chosen to do with
What
him.
year? 91, 92?
Again,
Yeah.
I think he would have been buried,
Yeah.
though.
You think so?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, in 91,
know.
92? At that point, not early 90s. I think
So
if anything,
much better than, other than maybe the physique.
Maybe.
He had everything going for him compared to Warrior, I think.
Oh yeah.
But I think if he had gone in 92, you wouldn't have gotten Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels at the top. You would have gotten Sting for a while.
Well, I mean, Sting really isn't that much bigger than Bret and Shawn.
He's a little taller than those guys.
Well, I'd say Sting's maybe 6'3", 6'4",
6'2",
6'2", all right, 6'2".
And Bret and
which is
Shawn
still
were
pretty
about.
solid.
Bret and Shawn were like what, 5'10", 6-foot guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, depending upon what they put in their boots.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was surprised. I saw Shawn once in '96, and I thought he seemed taller than I was led to believe. But
Oh,
again,
really?
it could have been footwear too. Yeah.
And that was probably him at his biggest, as far as weight wise.
Yeah.
Because he had really built himself back up where he seemed a little bigger.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a great package of talent if you had a natural Sting, a Shawn, a Bret,
Yeah.
you know.
Vader from a few years earlier.
Oh,
A Rude. I mean, got a Henning
what
that was healthy.
WCW did to flush Vader down. I mean, what WWE did to flush Vader down the toilet.
Totally.
I mean, one of the most, I don't know about what you think, Phil, but to me, one of the most enjoyable wrestlers in that period to watch. Vader from 92 to 95-ish.
But the thing is, I will say this: by the time he went to Vince, his prime was
Very
kind of over.
fearful. He was very scary at the time.
See,
I
the
think.
thing is, in WCW, his last 9 months was pretty much with Hogan. And as he said here in this studio, it was like holding an old man's hand. You know,
Yeah.
Vader wanted to go out there and work,
Right.
and Hogan wanted to do, you know, the Hulkster brother.
Yep.
And that's not all on Vader. That's, you know, the quality of the opponent that he had.
But look,
And granted, Hogan was so over, he didn't need to go out and work Vader's stiff style. He was over being Hogan.
but
It was a mismatch.
But would you say by the time Vader got to the WWF, his prime was done? His body was starting to kind of go down.
He had surgery as soon as he came in, right after he did that moonsault on Gorilla on Raw the night after Royal Rumble '96. So I don't think that helped. But his matches with Shawn on some of the house shows were excellent. That SummerSlam '96 match was a complete.
I still can't
disaster.
forgive Shawn for what he did at '96 at the SummerSlam. I think that was so unprofessional. It's the worst thing. That's one of the worst things I've seen in a wrestling.
I agree with you.
It's so bad. That kills your business. I would have fired him if I was running that company. that
Vince
night.
wasn't going to fight him.
Well, because he was sleeping with him. But think about who else would have done that. Austin would have done that. Rock, Sting, Hogan even. Hogan wouldn't even done that.
You know, but it's the sort of thing he did get away with, but could have by virtue of his gimmick as it was. You know, that's kind of in keeping with his personality. At the
And I'm
time.
not saying anything bad about his
It's
talent. And I mean, that was Shawn at the peak of his powers too. You know,
And I'll say this, Leon, and I like Leon White Vader, but very, very, very fucking difficult to work with.
Yeah.
He
Moody?
would, nice human being, but he would just bitch and bitch and
Yeah.
bitch and bitch.
about anything and
and
everything.
Bitch.
Anything
and
particular?
Bitch. And bitch. And bitch.
Okay.
and bitch about
Good bet.
everything. And it wasn't, I couldn't imagine being a promoter having to work with him daily. He was just,
Never happy.
Paul Barris who managed him, and he hated the experience. And he said it was because he thought Vader had a pampered life from the NFL and kind of a pampered life from the top guy in Japan.
Yeah.
where they were, treated to masseuses and things
Yeah.
like that. And in WWF, that wasn't going to fucking fly. He was doing 6-minute jobs to the Warrior every night. He was shocked.
What did he bitch about in with you? Like anything and everything?
Everything. The sky was blue. The grass was green.
Temperature
He
of
would
the studio.
find a reason to complain. But the funny thing is, I can still say a very nice human being.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but it's just,
He bitched in a nice way.
yeah. I don't think he
always-
meant any harm.
His voice.
I just think that's the only way he knew how.
You know what's funny about him? When I watch interviews with him, his voice made me hungry.
Made you hungry?
Yeah, some people have voices.
Well, I don't know about that.
His voice made me
Wait,
hungry.
wait on.
Heard him talking. He wanted a cheeseburger.
He was just like, yeah,
And I'll say this, as much as I just jobbed him out, just such a very respectful human being. At one point, he was running a promotion in Japan that he was trying to get off the ground. He wanted to fly myself, John Cena Sr., and at the time, our Boston Wrestling MWF heavyweight champion, Slick Wagner Brown, over to Japan to work with his son, Jesse,
What year
who
was
was
that?
in WWE developmental and was with, for a long period of time, Bray Wyatt's current wife, not Jose, that was the baseball player. Is it Josie, the ring announcer that was on Raw?
JoJo.
JoJo Offerman.
The one that
her father played on the Red Sox.
the one that Bray Wyatt had
inseminated.
Yeah, he cheated on his wife with JoJo.
Well, I wasn't there. I don't know, but Jesse White was with her for a long,
I've seen
long
the
time.
pictures of JoJo naked online.
I didn't know they existed.
They exist. I saw them. They were nice.
70s push.
No, not at all. But
All right.
she's a beautiful Latina woman.
Yeah, and did you know that her dad was on the Red Sox?
I think I heard that
What was her
vaguely.
last name?
Offerman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jose was with the Red Sox, I think, in 02 and 03. Was an
Was he
all-star one
shortstop
year.
or second base? I forget what he
John
was.
C., brother,
Yeah.
you walk by and ignore the cup,
Sorry.
Ah,
and it's Christmas week. And I like him an awful lot. I'd go to bat for him. I'd lie on a resume for him.
John C. Riley.
Manicus
Manicus
Riley.
Riley.
Gotta get it right. Even though he doesn't have birdseed sized teeth. He
John,
has real man teeth,
real choppers.
even though he's picking at them right now.
Looking very contemplative over there, like a Rodin.
What are you
statue
thinking
with a
about,
thinker
John?
Yeah,
there.
you look like you just killed someone
Like
and you
you're
ran back
deep
here.
thought.
Look like you just
Are
jerked
you
off to a
happy
puppy
that
or
you
something.
don't have birdseed sized teeth?
It's like you.
What's the matter, Johnson? You don't look happy.
Nothing. No,
What?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. What do you got? Some rat texting you? What's this?
No.
Oh, you do? You have rug rats?
It's like he.
I may have left my mic on in the bathroom.
You may have what?
Left my mic on in the bathroom.
I won't tell anyone.
He's sitting there. He's like talking to himself. He's like, "Oh, this is a big shit I'm gonna take."
Now,
Oh,
did we
if I-
miss the
if
most?
I, maybe if I tuck it back, it'll look like.
Did we miss the most important part of the match? I think we did.
I think we did.
Yeah, we did. We did miss that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, we're gonna
Michael Buffer kind of give it away
Little
as he
Montreal
stands up.
Revisited. Yeah.
Did Hogan even tap here? No, he didn't. He did the old. They didn't have tapping back then. They had to shake.
I shook my head.
I forgot they didn't have the tap back in the Hogan Flair days when they started. They had the head shake. That's what they had.
Right. And you didn't see wins by submission too much back then either. That's a
Oh, is that Louis
I'd like
Spicoli?
to see more.
Louis
of
I was
it.
gonna ask
Spicoli.
Louis. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
was before he
about 2
died.
months before he died.
Yeah. He did. Yeah. He
I think it
died
was
in
February of '98. Yeah.
I think this is hilarious because look at Mortis in his leather
I think it
jacket.
was my birthday. He died on February 10th. As
On your birthday?
As David Von Erich did too.
Oh,
February
wow.
10th.
February
yeah.
10th. That's the day after my dad's birthday, February 9th. My dad's gonna be Papa Wilson's gonna be 51 in February.
I will save it for February. All right.
We
No
wrote that.
one's going to write it down and comment now.
Well, I
It's
don't know.
Christmas week.
I don't know. I just want to
Nothing
put it out
against
there.
Papa Wilson, but my God, do you think he's that over?
I think it might. He actually talks about the most boring things, so to me, he's over. But
Who's John C. texting?
Are you
is what I
okay,
wanna
John?
know.
are you worried
What?
about the bathroom thing? No one cares. You know, you degenerates watch this show. I mean, unless you're
You
in there
know,
saying
whoa,
vile
whoa, whoa,
things.
whoa, Don't say that.
Unless you were sitting there saying vile things like, I can't wait to take this big shit, or if I tuck my penis
Were you
and
saying
I look like I got a
flush?
vagina. You know what I mean, Jan? A little
Well,
tuck back.
John C. is one of my favorites. You know what you guys don't realize is that he's
There's
been,
Nord.
he's
that
wait,
Valentine?
wait, there is John Nord in the sunglasses on the right hand side
And
of
look
the
at John.
screen.
He's trying to get over with his American
Can you
flag.
see him,
I look
John?
at Bernard. Oh, I think I.
He's on the right hand side
I
of the
see
screen
Nord.
with shades and blonde hair.
Yeah, the handlebar mustache still.
Barry Dasso's in there. It's like a Boston wrestling reunion. See him in the sweater right in front of you.
There he is,
I forgot the
rocking the
frosty.
Minnesota sweater.
Oh, did DDP win this title match?
It's probably the same
Sonny
sweater. that-
Ono's out there.
I'm sorry. What about
Did
DDP?
DDP win his title match? I
He
didn't-
won the U.S. title.
Yes,
Well,
he did.
Clean with the diamond cutter.
Yeah.
The diamond cutter.
He looks a little like Ernest Miller, John Nord, in this.
Look at the gentleman, Chris Adams. Look at some of the people. They were
Barbarian.
getting an easy
Luther.
payday
That was
out of
Luther Reigns.
WCW.
Horseshoe.
Yeah,
Luther
a
Reigns
young,
was in
young
there.
Luther Reigns. You're right.
Young Luther Reigns was still with.
Here's a guy that wound up going nowhere.
Yeah.
I think he worked in the porn industry for a while as a bodyguard.
I heard that. Yeah, I
Charles,
think you're
hope
right.
You're not watching too much porn.
Not as much as I used to.
That is good. It's not good for your brain.
Yeah, probably really.
Oh, Don the Barber didn't like that. Degenerate. I make more than that kid's mom and dad in a month than they do in a year. Whoa. Don the Barber, baby. He's doing a little bit of strutting
Don the
and a little
Barber.
bit of cutting. I think you owe him an apology.
Don the Barber, I want to say this. You were a degenerate, so you can go cut and strut away from the screen. Be gone. And my parents make way more than you, Don the Barber.
CW, you shooting on my friend Don the Barber.
Listen, how do you think I got these nice bear paws? How do you think I got the nice chain right here? You think I got it through table scraps? Don the Barber, you jabroni. I'll slap you.
I love Don the Barber.
Yeah, I bet he cuts people's hair with an old
With a
axe.
salad
I'd like to
With a
think he.
salad
I'd
bowl.
like to think he gave me a nice haircut if I was out there, and I'm
Yeah.
sure he would.
Where does he
but
live?
John,
John the Barber. I
Keep
can't
my
believe
mic
he
on,
said
okay?
that.
If it'll make you
I
feel
hope you
better.
know that does not come from the mind of me.
Viewers at home, it was I in the bathroom, not
Well,
John C.
since Mr. Phil DeCesare
Thank you.
is going to the bathroom, should we take it home,
Number
Dano?
one.
All right, wrestling fans. Yes, if Phil needs to take his business privately, I think that's
Maybe
about
we'll fill
it.
the pool.
I'd like to know on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Starrcade 97 after watching it? I'd go 6 out of 10.
7.5.
Oh,
I know Charlie's going to do the half.
he always does the half spill.
Go with the 7. I'm going
Vic,
with the
you're a
solid
man.
7. For
You're a man,
nostalgia
Phil.
I'm a
and,
man. Look at me. I'm a man.
I'm
You
a man,
insulted Don the
baby.
Barber. You're on my
All right.
shit list.
What's that?
I love Don the Barber. He's a good man. So you're still 6.5? We can't persuade you.
7.5. Size 7.5.
So,
don't know if I like
you-
that
Charlie's
much.
up to 6 7/8.
I'll go with 6 7/8 for Phil.
Thank you.
Come on, 6 or a 7? Which one?
Need that.
6.5. All right, I'll go.
So
with,
I'm going to guess the average between the three of us was 6.5.
yeah.
All
Makes
right.
it
Well, you know
easier.
what? That does make it kind of easy
Makes it
when
easy.
it comes to the math.
It wasn't a bad show. It was better than SummerSlam 90, if I remember correctly, or 91, whatever one we watched.
You know, SummerSlam 90 grew on me.
Like a fungus.
I liked it a lot more when we did the watch along compared to when I watched it live.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
you kind of turned me babyface on SummerSlam 90.
A little bit. Well, I guess we'll take it home with that said.
Well, we got to wait for our boss in the back, Mr. John C. Manicus Riley, a man whose teeth do not resemble birdseed and didn't
Well-
ruin Kevin Sullivan and D'Lo Brown interviews
Until
with
next
shit
time,
audio skills.
ladies and gentlemen, it's been a blast as always.
We got to wait for him to.
We're gonna wait
John
for
C., let us know when you're ready to hit the button, brother. You're all right. He's ready. All right, wrestling fans, we had a great time. We hope you have a great, awesome Christmas week. I am looking forward to the week ahead. I got a lot on tap. I am working very, very hard for you folks. We want to give you the best talk shows possible. We want to give you the best live wrestling possible. Saturday night, April the 16th, discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. See and meet Jake the Snake Roberts, Saxon Smash Demolition, the Berzerker, and so many more here at Memorial Hall, here in Melrose, hours before the Easter Bunny hits the street, baby.
And with that said, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. And until next time, whenever that may be.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Starrcade 98.
We'll do
baby.
Starrcade 98. Finish out the year with Starrcade 98. And Phil, would you like to close us out, brother?
Phil DeCesare. Did I get one of them right?
Number 2.
See, I'm getting closer. Phil DeCesare. Ladies and gentlemen, I love having Phil with us. He reminds me a lot of our friend, the late, great Jackal, as far as his knowledge of this great industry goes. So we're happy to have Phil DeCesare with us. It's like the DeCesare section on Raw.
Who do I remind you of, Dan?
Eric Bischoff.
Oh, fantastic.
I always say Mickey Dolenz, the last monkey.
Mickey Dolan.
The last,
Hey, he's a monkey.
he has a great voice, honestly.
Well,
I see Mickey Dolenz. I do.
Is it the hair? It's probably the hair.
It's everything.
Yeah,
He
it's-
was a styling and profiling dude and
I
a great
wasn't
singer
expecting
too.
that.
I'll take that as a
But-
compliment.
Yeah, Mickey Dolenz.
Wrestling fans, you never know what to expect here. Again, if you are raffle ticket holder 694-5499, baby, you've got over 50 prizes waiting for you. For my good friends, CW Charlie Wilson, Phil DeCesare, in the booth, John C. Manicus Riley, I'm Dan Marati. Be well, be healthy. Merry Christmas from Boston. We got a big week ahead. Don't miss a day.
Merry New Year.
Ho, ho, ho.
No rabbit ears.